Yeah,
Hello.
so, uh, Mahad, it's not full screen, right? Or you
Yeah, yeah.
cannot make it.
No, I
Okay,
can,
well,
but every
what is
time
it?
I did it
Okay,
froze, so I don't know.
okay, yeah. So, like, from Chile, we have Anubis.
Hello. My name is AnubisDark. I am main Mordekaiser since season 1. It was my first champ. I reached the top 1 of the server in solo queue in season 6 and 7 only with Mordekaiser. Yes, I am from South Latin America.
Wow,
Well,
guys, this is what I was talking about. We have from all over, and really respectful and really love it. I love it. And guys, big shout out to Anubis. His English is not very good, but he is trying his best, and he has very good English. Like it's not his first language. He's speaking so well, guys. So big respect to him. Shout out to him for coming here and representing the American.
So my
yeah.
English is not that good.
No, it's very good. It's very good. This guy,
Your
respect to him.
English is actually
Respect to
pretty
him.
good.
Let's
Yeah.
go!
Let's go, Anubis. Let's go. Okay. Now, from another part of the world, I believe Switzerland, right? Malicious Metal.
Yep.
How's it going?
Oh, well, yep, I'm Malicious Metal. I've mained Morde since Season 3. Was the first champion I bought, first champion I played. Been sticking with him since forever, basically. I'm very interested in, like, him as a champion more than just gameplay, mostly also lore, visual, and all the stuff surrounding him. I used to spam a shit ton of essay threads on the boards about him, and yeah, that's why Riot flew me in to help nailing him. But well, some would say he hit the mark, but that's why we're here to discuss this. So
Well, thank you for the introduction. Very interesting. Now we have to introduce someone who earlier, about an hour ago, I saw him inting on Garen, top lane. So introduce, introduce
Fucking
Nikki
finish
TT.
plays.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm NikkiTT, high diamond player on EU West. Been maining Mordekaiser since like season 7, though for the past season not as much for a reason or another. I think like yeah, I also stream on Twitch sometimes, but been having a bit of my own time, I guess, due to university, etc.
Okay. Okay, great introduction. So now, another one, personal favorites, RaidBossMorde. Welcome.
Hello. So I've been maining Morde since like season 4, and fun fact, I used to play rank 3v3s with King and Kaizer, like way long back then, and we'd kind of take turns playing Morde and
was
seeing who's
lit.
better. It's really fun. Just test each other like
Anytime I
that.
didn't get to play Mord, we lost because I was trash at everything else.
Yeah, and we may have to talk about, you guys have a lot of history with each other. So, maybe we can talk
Yeah.
about this later in the show. But of course not least, ShadowMorde.
Yo, what's up? I'm ShadowMorde. I picked up a Morde when the rework happened mostly, and so I'm the most Zoomer Morde player. But I've only played this champion for literally like a whole year and a half. It's the only champion I like playing. I'm mid plat, but I have a lot of Twitter followers, so epic win.
Okay, so, to start off, this is of course the second relation, second episode, whatever you call it. So there has been some changes for me. Now it's up to you guys to talk about it. Has anything really huge changed? And of course, in all of League it has changed. The items, which you know, kind of garbage, but it's okay. Items, top lane has changed a bit, and so what are some of the biggest things that have changed? And of course, focus on the mode. So whoever wants to step in, talk about this.
Um, I think we could start with the people who were there in the last time. So I think we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
start with.
So who exactly was there in the last time?
Right. I mean, I can probably give like a bit of info on what we talked last time. I feel like a lot of people, I like one of the topics that we had for sure was about like his sustain issues that he had, and that they for sure took away from him. So then he was like forced to play Conqueror and then Ghost Ravenous Hunter Taste of Blood to like try to mimic the sustain that he had on the old one. That's for sure changed now, since nowadays, like, I feel like the only page you could really go on him would be going bone plating and revitalize, just for abuse the laning phase a bit more in top lane. Sure, there's the other way to play if you play Mordekaiser in mid lane or ADC, which is apparently very controversial here, is that you would go Nimbus Cloak and some other shit would ignite and just like blast their asses off. I'm not sure what else. I mean, there's a lot of things. Other things that changed for sure is the acceptance for items like Gnasher's Tooth being introduced into his kit is another thing that's now a very, very common thing. Like, I remember last time it was also a very controversial topic when we talked about Gnasher's Tooth. Some people really liked the item and some people really disliked the item, including myself. Not
Okay,
quite
okay.
sure what else there is.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can get last.
Your voice cut off. What'd you say?
I believe we can get Kaizer to talk about this because he was on the last episode. So anything to add from Nikki's boy?
Yeah, I mean, we basically just talked about the state of Morde, and in the last one, since it was the last one happened in 2019 when the rework came out, and we did a decent amount of comparing to the old one and the new one in the last podcast, and there were like a lot of weaknesses and strengths that were pretty clear with the new Morde, and we discussed them. And going on into this podcast, I really want to like know everyone's thoughts on how playing Morde feels in the current meta, and how you guys think, like, whether you guys think the approach that Riot takes to buff Morde is like the right approach or not. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and speak up. As far as Mordekaiser goes, currently, some blatant weaknesses in lane. If the enemy is smart, and I guess this happens the higher ELO you climb, I wouldn't know because I'm currently hard stuck gold. But the higher ELO you climb, the smarter your lane opponents get. They know how to freeze the wave, they know how to manage their creeps. And if you encounter a lane freeze, there's literally nothing Mordekaiser can currently do about it pre-6. He's only got 2 wave clearing spells. One of them is on a long ass cooldown, so I do think that lowering the cooldown by 2 seconds on E is a step in the right direction, but it still doesn't really give Mordekaiser a lot of options when he's in a lane that knows to freeze the wave, and it's difficult for Mordekaiser to manage creep wave because he's got that bonus damage on his auto attacks from his passive that make last hitting under tower super cancerous. The only thing that really helps with that is Doran's Ring or Doran's Sword for the extra on-hit AD or damage to the minion. So I really like that. I'm not a fan of how Mordekaiser feels to play in lane now. I really like having the ability to help my jungler pre-level 4, macro was really important on Mordekaiser. You could establish lane priority very quickly by having that wave control, being able to shove the wave in level 3, using your W on a minion and casting E and then using Q to secure last hits. It helps you push the wave really fast, put the enemy up against the tower. They could not leave their lane without losing something significant. And then you could go help your jungler kill the enemy jungler, or at least deny a couple camps from that jungler, maybe even get a flash. And that kind of set the pace for the game. That was the way old Mordekaiser was played. New Mordekaiser has a totally different niche. You traded your 75-second ghost for a 7-second game of tag. So I'm not impressed with the direction Riot's taking, but they're hard-headed, and that's just my opinion on it. So I'll let other people talk, but I've said my piece.
Okay, and before we get anyone else's, King and Anubis were 2 of the people who were not on the last episode. So I wanted to get King. You already just went, so let's get Anubis's thoughts on Mordekaiser rework. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What aspects do you not like and like?
I don't like it. I think after their work, Mordekaiser became a very simple and monotonous champion. They took away the hybrid scaling that allowed Mordekaiser to buy different types of builds, which made him very flexible. And also think that the simpler of the champion cause that there is not much different between a good Mordekaiser to a regular one. It's not like a skill in that champion anymore.
Okay, so we have heard a lot of negative aspects of the rework. Does anyone have any, if you like it totally overall, or does anyone have any positive aspects of the new changes?
Well,
I'll name one thing I really do like about new Mordekaiser real quick. Sorry to cut you off there. I love the new Mordekaiser is actually pretty decent at level 1 invades. Pre-rework 2019 Mordekaiser, all you could offer to an invade at best, and this would be fucking you over in the lane phase, is 3 Qs, or you could use W to heal-ish, or you could just cast E, right? It's pretty boring. You couldn't really do a lot. But new Mordekaiser, all you got to do is land 1 Q on at least 3 enemies, and your passage automatically popped. It's very easy to just move in because it all clumped together during level 1 fights. It's very easy to get first blood if you've got Mordekaiser in your team and at least some CC, be able to land that Q on 2 to 3 enemies. So I will give Mordekaiser that. He's much stronger level 1 as far as invading goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's. Malicious, I believe, was cut off, so let's.
yep.
Let's let him.
Basically, like I like playing this more than the old one. I just think he's more consistent, honestly. He also looks way better, and just like overall, the package is way streamlined, way smoother to play. I also really prefer Deathram over Children of the Grave, but that's just a personal thing. I just like how you can like utterly cuck a fucking jungler if they try to come in for a smite, or like deny engages, peel off fucking divers, assassins. I just really like what Deathram provides in terms of utility. I also like his passive giving a lot of AoE DPS. What I do agree on, which like Anubis already mentioned, he's a bit boring because there's like not a lot that differentiates a good Morde from like just a casual player, which is what Raid already agreed on, that he likes a bit of that, and that's what they kind of wanna fix. But we don't have an ETA on that, so yeah. So basically, I just have way more fun playing this one, but there should be a bit more skill expression to really like make give us something in return for actually investing a lot of time in playing this champ.
Okay, Shadow, you wanted to continue this?
Yeah. One thing I liked about the rework was, I don't know if it was because I was new at the time, but I really liked having a pull on this kit. I also liked his base stats, because his base stats were for a solo laner, because you didn't really wanted to play him solo lane, but they were pretty low, and I didn't really like it at the time, and I still kind of don't like it. So I like his base stats better now. I think Malicious Metal is right, and that you can use R to cuck the jungler, and I really like that too. There's something I don't like. I think his W needs serious attention. It's a very
yeah.
boring ability, and there's not a whole lot you can really do around it other than just click it when it's fully stacked, I guess. That's really it. Like the sustain is decent, but like the heal's so useless later on. And in some cases, if you have a keyboard like mine that might repeat the W key twice, it's a detriment completely.
Yeah, like
But yeah.
can I add on that real quick?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you can add on
like
that.
W is basically passive because you basically fill it up and then you click it once and that's it. And that's where like a lot of the that's why he's that boring, because you just fill it up, click it once, and that's it. The Volt W you like manage. There was like this whole
Semicircle.
trade. Yeah, there was also like the trade-off, like, are you gonna have like a DPS for like continuous shield, or are you gonna use the heal? Like currently, like you just hit E, Q, auto attack, walk them down, W if it's filled up. So yeah, like he's just W is kind of the sore spot. It looks cool though, like when he pounds his chest and like starts around like he owns the place. But yeah,
Like a good example of a shield ability is kind of like a Yone W. I know Yone W is very, very similar to old Morde E, and it kind of sucks seeing him get it because it's pretty much the same ability. Is that you actually have to aim it, and the more enemies you hit, the bigger shield you get. And that's a way to make a shield ability. When it comes to Morde, you just kind of click W, you forget about it for the rest of the fight until it's back up. With abilities like Yone W or whatever other heal shield abilities like that, you actually have to do something with it to get more of it.
Yeah,
and
also
that's
like
how I'd like it to be.
Yeah, also like if you compare like Morde's W to different shields in this game, like Scion's, he has like the passive where he gets more health, so that's already something. But he also can reactivate it for like a burst of max
For
HP
burst, yeah.
damage. And same thing with Knowledge, he gets on hit damage. Like most shields also do something else. Meanwhile,
But
Morde is
Morde's-
literally just a shield. The heal is
Yeah.
like negligible, and you usually just only use it in side lanes to heal up after a good trade or something.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me add a few things in here real quick. So, like, I agree with Shadow when it comes to like the E. Like, old Morde E was really bad. It was very boring, and I think having a pool kind of fixed all of his main problems. I think they could do a few tweaks to it. Like, I think percent magic pen on his E is kind of bad, and like also the hitbox is kind of weird sometimes. So I feel like if they made it more like I don't know, like sometimes I'll be standing on the tip and it looks like it's gonna pull him, but it doesn't. They need to fix the hitbox and it'll be
Yep.
fine. And then Mord's W, like they kind of went in the opposite direction, like they did with Shin. So Shin's old W was just a shield, very boring, and they replaced it with a cool ability and put his shield on his passive. But with Morde, they took a cool ability on W and then just made it a shield. So like, I feel like they could swap them around and it would be fine.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out, I think we should maybe talk about the R a bit because, Mordekaiser R was very, very unique. No one else has this. Like, you make a ghost, it was crazy, right? And it really changed the game, and it was something you have to play around. Dragon is something you had to play around with a lot of effort. You had to put a lot of resources into it, spamming your team to come do the Drake actually when they could. And you get the ghost and you can just push mid tower or, group with your team and take down whatever tower you need to take down. So what are your thoughts on the new R and versus the old one?
Can I make a comment real quick?
you can
Because
make
like
a comment.
it's become like a lot more like people all looked at Viego and were like, yo, it's like more out. I kind of want to debunk that because like everyone's like, yo, why does he get a cool fucking clone when it's in fact just him assuming like another form and using other spells. Like that analogy doesn't really work. But yeah,
No, it
I
doesn't.
agree. Like the old Morde alt is like you don't have something like that in the game anymore, and we're probably never gonna get it again anyway, because we've seen how many fucking bugs Viego's passive has.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
One thing I
One
wanna-
thing it did bring along was the bugs. Yes, we have to talk about them.
Yeah, one thing I want to add was the only thing I didn't like about like the dragon part of Mordstar is that in top lane it kind of felt like a little weird because sometimes you don't really always go to Drake. Sometimes you need to reserve TP early on. So like if you take a pretty bad trade, so then you don't have TP for the next Drake, and like there's no other way that you can like just get the dragon ghost or a Rift Herald ghost.
Oh yeah, like
So
that's
in top lane, his current art is better for just that lane, and I think that's what they were really trying to go for when they had to decide to not use his old R anymore.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, to be honest, because
Yeah.
like old Morde was very macro like focused, so you had to be at every drag, and then you would get huge benefits if you did get it. You would get at least a tower at minimum. So and you could always do things like save your TP to teleport back top, and then control the dragon from top lane. Like if you were good at micromanaging, you could do that.
Yeah.
I have a few comments on this and previous things. One thing that's actually relatively the same on the old Morde and the new Morde is still the ultimate, to some extent, how you want to play it around. Because old Morde, you were very reliant on Dragon and playing around the objective, and your new ultimate is literally the same ability in that sense. Because the only good use for your ultimate right now pretty much is ulting the enemy jungler away, and when they don't have smite, you can now clear for Barons and Dragons and get them for your team easier.
Yeah.
So that's like at least one thing that's like relatively the close to the old Morde ult. But I still do believe that's been said of multiple times that they should probably take the stat steal away and just make it a dot.
oh yeah, like
And on other comments like Malicious Metal saying that the new Morde is smoother to play, I would have to disagree on that for sure. Old Mordekaiser had animation canceling, so he had a lot more going on and just combos in general. I don't see how you can say that a champion that has 2-second cast times on his fucking only damage ability is anywhere near smooth. Enemy has flash or just
Smooth brain. Smooth
Yeah.
brain.
um
All right. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, King, you had something you want to.
Yeah. Hold up. Nikki, are you done? I didn't want to interrupt.
there's probably one thing that I wanted to say. Because there's a lot of people, even on the old Morde when it was like first teased that he's gonna get a rework. A lot of Mordekaiser mains, I feel like were like very into the thought that Mordekaiser's E had to be a pull, but I don't think a lot of people really thought what it's actually going to do to him. Because the only like the big thing about old Mordekaiser was that his kit was raw damage. He had no CC, he had no mobility, but instead he had a lot of damage. And I feel like that's the big thing that a lot of Mordekaiser mains found like the best thing in the world. When you go for those flash one shots, or like enemies try to fight you and you're like an actual raid boss because you have like so much damage, and like you just like push for objectives, enemies were first to fight you, and then you just like kill absolutely everyone. And if you just imagine like if we would now have the old Mordekaiser kit and they would only change the E, it wouldn't really change anything because now we would only have our Q and W for farm, and E would be literally the same kind of HFS that we have it as right now. So then we'd have like no way, because like old E was used for wave clear. If we now change, like our E wave clear into a pull, then what do we have now? Are we forced to use our W and Q? It just like wouldn't work to give him the pull at all.
Okay, so we'll have
That's all it for me now. So you can
Yeah.
continue from this one.
yeah, so we'll have King say his piece and to go deeper into why you think new mode is more smooth. Okay, so we'll have King first.
All right, so and I get the funny feeling mid Mordekaiser is really going to agree with me here. I'm looking forward to this. So old Mordekaiser are, let's face it, the community didn't fucking know anything about old Mordekaiser. If you talk to any average League of Legends player, all I know is the bullshit they regurgitated from Reddit. Oh, he's got tons of bugs. Oh, ulting Dragon is OP. Number one, most of his bugs were not even noticeable in game. Number two, you don't ult the fucking dragon. It's just a passive on your ultimate called Dragon Force. So let's face it, nobody fucking knew how Mordekaiser worked, which worked to our advantage, but also was completely detrimental to the fact that Riot Games could remove something so unique and amazing and strong. 78% win rate in Challenger 2017. Never touched that since. All right. They took it away and the community praised them for it. And they had nothing but memes. Okay. That's bullshit. That's one of the reasons I've been so stubborn about it, is because right is right and wrong is wrong. So they took something amazing away and the community praised them for it. Why did they praise them for it? Because they don't know how Mordekaiser works. So there was a lot of problems with Mordekaiser. And honestly, if I could have just taken the dragon aspect away, as cool as it was to play, just take it away so that people stop complaining about how broken it was, so that we could get back to using Mordekaiser's ghosts, effectively, getting a ranged ghost, getting a tank ghost, whatever, using that for the full 75-second duration was huge. Just like Mordekaiser said, Mordekaiser was a macro champion. He was literally encompassing his theme. He was a warlord general. That's what his original theme was. He conquered the mini-map, one objective at a time, one tower at a time. You take enemy, you kill the enemy level 6 with your ghost, you go straight down to Rift Herald, take Rift Herald with ease because you got your ghost tanking it for you, so you can get all the eyeball shots in as fast as possible, and you can heal yourself and your ghost a lot. So Mordekaiser's W was really, really great for skirmishes. People say that Mordekaiser's kit didn't flow with itself, but I don't think that's true at all. And I do agree with what Nikki said before. If you exchanged old Mordekaiser's E with new Mordekaiser's E, and you're still focused on old Mordekaiser, I don't think it really would have worked, simply because Mordekaiser needed that E to mitigate damage, to charge up his shield the fastest, and it was his only option for poking the enemy because his W was on a really long cooldown, even though you max the W in lane, top lane. I'm not sure what you max mid lane. What did you max mid lane, Mid-Mord?
Always W. Always.
Hell yeah, there we go.
Hey, I made
All right,
mid
now,
too.
So I think.
I'm not done. I'm not
Hold on,
done.
one
Please,
second.
please.
One little.
Okay.
I think going back to the pool thing, like our W would clear the wave on its own so fast. I think you could add in the pool over the old E, and it would be fine. Because if you're maxing W, it would kill the whole wave on its own.
There's an issue with this one.
I just mean level 1. What is your option? Because if you start Q, the enemy might be able to win the trade and zone you off the CS. And W's on such a long cooldown that you might. It's just the level 1 is so awkward if you don't have E on old Morde. It's just my opinion.
I feel like the biggest issue.
So
yeah, go on, my bad.
Sorry, I just want to get this out before I forget it. So talking about new Mordekaisers I will agree with Malicious Metal on this. I know everyone's gasping in chat. It is nice for cucking the enemy on jungle. I've been playing a lot of Mordekaiser lately. If anyone's been stalking me, I know you guys have been in the Discord. You guys have been watching my match history. I'm negative win rate on almost all of my accounts except two. 70% win rate on one, 55% win on the other. I'm starting to finally figure out the new meta and the new items. But denying the enemy jungler is a really great thing to do, especially when your jungler isn't really trustworthy with landing the smite. So I'll give him that. But I will say this. I hate that when you're behind, all you represent to your team is a kamikaze. Now, I am going to sacrifice myself and fuck over my KDA to save you guys for 3, assuming you survive, to 7 seconds from whoever it is that's hurting you guys, right? Plus, QSS is really overly bought these days. Last game, I've had a couple of games where the enemy literally rushes QSS first item. It's just amazing. They just, you know what? I know what to do against Mordekaiser. I'm just going to rush QSS. Don't have to worry about his bullshit anymore. Junglers do that now, okay? Last thing, let me see if I can remember what it was. I kind of lost my train of thought here. New Mordekaisers doesn't feel good to play even when you're ahead, because let's say you're the strongest person on your team and a 5v5, right? Your teammates need you. You have the most gold on your team. They need you. You can only take out one threat. What if there's multiple threats in the enemy team? What if they can't win the team fight without you? Then you're pressured not to use your ultimate simply because they need your beautiful ass in there dealing all that AoE damage and chunking people with the Qs. If you ult, you're taking yourself out of the team fight, and it's just like old Mordekaiser in that you are completely reliant on your teammates to carry you outside of the team fight and inside of the team fight. I don't know if that made sense, but it made sense here, and that's all that matters. So that's all I got to say. Please continue.
Okay, so we start. Let's get the Malicious Metal. So Nikki made the point that he doesn't agree with you that Mordekaiser is as smooth as he used to be. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, as in smooth, I think like he's more streamlined. Like you know what you want to do. Like you have one combo, you hit that one. He's like just you know what you. It's way easier to like get a grasp on him, and apply the knowledge to like all the matchups. Honestly, also like what I wanted to say like with his Q cast time, I agree with that. There's like this one thing with Morde currently, right? When you like your Q cast time, you can't even fucking use W, and that shit gets you killed all the fucking time.
That's the
that
worst.
gets me
Yeah.
fucked over a
Absolute
lot.
worst.
I just
Also,
want
like I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Kaizer, you go ahead.
Okay. Let's have Kaiser come in because he's definitely the highest deal here, right? So
Yep.
let's get his thoughts on it. Yeah.
I just want to add to King's point that like, relying on your team and stuff, with the new Mordar and everything, I feel like with new Mord, that's become like part of his skill set. Like I feel like there's a lot of decision making required with the new R, and that's like I feel like personally, I can see why everyone thinks the W and passive is boring, because I mean, to be honest, they pretty much are. A lot of what makes new Mord is his current R, and I feel like there's a lot of power in it, and I would like to see power shifted from that, if possible, to the W and the passive in some way. And yeah, what else? But yeah, I can see why it was similar to old Mord, because you have to rely on your team. But I think new Mord's R is definitely like, it's not a bad ability. It's definitely a really good ability, and yeah, it's definitely a game-changing ability, and it's similar to old Mord too, in the sense where you still have to be at the objectives first. Like you still need to tell your team to come to the dragons and everything. And one thing I dislike is that if you've noticed, when you play new Mord and you're not at the objective first, it's really, really difficult to actually team fight, because when you're playing new Mord, you want them to walk into you. If your team's at the objective first, they have to walk into you, and you have vision everywhere, so it's really easy to know who you want to R at the right time. But if your bot lane's inting or something and they can't set up vision because the enemy bot lane's just too strong, then it's just really difficult, and you can't really play the game because you can't be there at the objective in the right time, and they can't walk into you. If you're playing Morde and you have to walk into their team, it's doomed. Like, you're gonna be
Hard
useless.
agree.
And
So
Hard agree.
what do you think the new R is better than old or better than new?
I mean, I would say you can't really compare them as much, but I would
They're
say
just different.
I would say the old R definitely had like lower lows and higher highs, and the new one is probably more consistent. But yeah, it's more like flattened curve, I would say, if you know what I mean.
Okay. And so Anubis, you want to jump in on this? What are your thoughts on everything that's been said?
I think the old Mordekaiser Ultimate is way better because the new one is consistent only if the enemy team don't buy a QSS. Okay, everybody in Challenger buy QSS at first item or second item. It's impossible to ult somebody in Challenger. It's impossible. If
Yes,
you want to, hmm?
very true. Yes, yes.
If you want to come back a game, o sea, if you are behind with the new Mordekaiser, you can do anything. You can do anything with the new Mord. With the old Mordekaiser, you can come back a game. You can ult the AD feed, the feed ID, and you can make your slave and come back the game. You can punish the enemy mistakes. But with the old Mordekaiser, you have to wait. You have to you can propose too much with Mord because you only win with versus tanks, and
Hey,
that's
Anubis.
yes.
What's your first language, real quick?
What?
What's your first language, real quick?
My first what?
Language.
Your first language.
My
Idioma.
Spanish. Spanish is my first English. language.
Estoy de acuerdo. Estoy de acuerdo. Gracias, gracias. I fucking love you for saying that. I fucking love you for saying that, Anubis.
Okay,
Mordekaiser's
and
comeback potential was incredible.
yes, I think that's it. I think the old Mordekaiser is way better because you can do things. You can punish the mistake of the enemy.
I'm going to have to agree with Anubis and King. Bring up some points. Raid Boss, what do you have to
Yes.
say about everything that is said so far?
If we're talking about the ults, I mean, like Kaizer even mentioned, you can't really compare either of them. They're very, very different ults. Now, I don't know what made most of you guys choose Morde in the first place when you first started playing League, but I chose it because of the ult. I went, looked through champions. I thought the ghost mechanic was super cool. And seeing that it's gone from the rework was really disappointing to me because that's the reason I played him. And of course, looking at my name, I played Morde because he had those moments where you were unkillable. And I thought it was fun. You felt like a raid boss. So I'm like, this is great. This is my champion. And now I feel like New Morde doesn't hit that as much. You can hit those moments if you're fed. It doesn't happen every game anymore, and I'm not really a fan of that. And talking about his R being like all of his power isn't his R. What if we took the stat steal away, which is probably the most obnoxious part of it for the enemies, and gave some sort of selfish stat bonus to yourself? It would feel a lot better for your opponents to play against you, and it would fit more in line with the other Juggernaut ults, like Renekton, who he's not a Juggernaut, but Nasus, Aatrox, Volibear, anyone who has self buffs. I feel like it'd be cooler if Morde had that. I know not everyone might agree because maybe it's too broken, but there's always changes you can do to the kit. But that's what I would prefer.
Yeah, I wanna add to that. Here's the thing with the stat steal. It's so much hidden power because people don't even think about this. You increase your own fucking damage, lower their resistances, lower their damage. It goes so many different ways. It's technically also an MR thread, and overall it's a lot of hidden power that you don't really feel yourself because it's not it's very passive like most of his other spells. And what I wanted to add here, during playtests when I played as a Morde at Riot, his ult was actually what you suggested, like an actual self buff. It was like 20% of his own stats, which which is way cooler because like you're like in your own fucking pocket dimension, like your own fucking underworld. Of course you'll be stronger there. So I don't get why it became a stat steal. Like you could always still have stat steal there. Like if you kill someone, take a portion of their stats.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make it like Old Morde, where he had a stat steal in his R. But honestly, did any of you guys play Old Morde because of the stat steal?
No,
I don't think we
No,
did.
I didn't even.
It was
I'm
just
gonna be
part
honest,
of
I
it.
didn't even notice.
Yeah, most people didn't even notice it. It wasn't bad. Like actually, you got a lot of stats with Old Morde.
Yeah.
But you didn't like. You weren't like, oh, dude, I can't wait to get all this AP from this Orianna who has 200 AP or something.
I don't know.
Cho'Gath was
Sometimes
fun to ult though.
Yeah.
Also, like
Well,
what I still want to add here, that's also something that makes Morde absolutely ass to play against top lane, because at level 6 he's just gonna yank your stats, which is like, if you remember like the making off video they had, they were like, we don't want Defram to be like a death sentence, there should be a fight. So why does he gimp your own stats? Like, it's such backwards logic. He should just make himself stronger, have his little self buff, have the 1v1. That would be way better, way healthier. So you could actually give him, like Kaizer suggested, like give more power to like the rest of his kit, because that stat steal is honestly not doing him any favors. Sure, it's strong. Like you can really make someone, but like basically, this is what I like on a fanatic level don't really like, because why would like this fucking overlord of death want to make someone weaker so he can bully them like he's some fucking schoolyard bully, instead of being like, yeah, this is my round, fight me on my terms. It's so fucking weird.
Yes, we will get to lore. Lore is actually our next topic. So, but let's finish this. King, I believe you had something, and we'll go to Shadow next.
I'm trying to make. I was actually just about to make sure I wasn't about to stick my foot in my mouth, because sometimes I forget what skills do verbatim. But Mordekaiser's are whatever state the enemy champion is in is the state that they'll have those 7% stats stolen. Right? It's not base. So, like for example, if Gnar turns into Mega Form, you'll get more HP.
Yep.
Right? You'll steal more HP. Yeah. So I think it's strategic. I actually don't mind the stat steal. If I have to have it, then I'll utilize it as best I can. Sometimes that stat steal alone will be what saves you. You're about to die, and that extra 7%, which includes damaging the enemy, will help you secure the kill. So it's saved me a couple of times. So I'll say that I don't mind it.
Yeah,
10%. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And like like, and you're right. Like usually pop alt after the enemy pop their own like steroid, like for example Renekton or Jax, like so you yank their stats that they just gained. So yeah, like it is strategic, but like on a balancing level, it doesn't really do him any favors because he's basically just schoolyard bully during ult.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to add on, I thought that when they added the stat seal in his art, it was kind of against Riot's like kind of like whole vision. Like they kind of want to like reduce the amount of stat sticks in the game, and like this kind of just feels like punishing. Like it makes Morde feel more like Trundle when it comes to level 6. Also, I think that more so when like when you ult like a Jax who uses arts, it feels more so like you're waiting on the enemy to greed R like that, and then you can R rather than just like actually outplaying them or something. To me.
Yeah, and Nikki, you have something to add on about Zar?
Yeah, so what Anubis got to actually say before me was I wanted like also make the same point about the R turn power. Like the whole ultimate, like you were behind, all you had to do was just alter Fed AD carry and you can like turn any game. Like you had a possibility to win every game. It's like similar to like what other champions like Darius would have like right now, which was something that I really liked personally. And then they are currently being used as like strategically, like after their own steroids, like Darius passive popping or Mega Gnar and then stealing their stats, or like if enemy pops aftershock, you steal more armor and MR. Like that's a very cool thing for sure, and that's one thing that I really like as well. But I think on all of these suggestions on the R change, I still do believe that instead of any stat steal, which I feel like can be a very toxic ability to try to balance in the first place, They should just try to make it into like a dot damage, like how the ultimate was. And I feel like it would also work in terms of the old Morde ult, because old Morde ult was also a dot, and I feel like it was used a lot just to benefit on like Rylai slow to being able to catch the enemies. So imagine you're in Death Realm now, you have Rylai, you would slow them so you can actually catch them. And I know a lot of people are going to be kited, by a Vayne in the Death Realm in the first place, and I don't think anyone's having fun with that.
Yeah, so King.
So,
Okay.
Oh no! Wait, mid Morde can go because he hasn't spoken.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, I have a few opinions about the R. Like the stat steal feels like really useless because like AD and attack speed aren't that useful for new Morde, and 10% is such a low number, especially early on, and it doesn't go up per ult level. So you're really not getting a huge benefit of stats, and like when you do win in the Death Realm, it only lasts their death timer, which especially early on is super short. So you don't get a huge benefit from the stat steal at all. And
Sure.
the R also, like, it's not very fun to play. It's either, like, from my experience, you either hard win the fight or you hard lose. Like, there's no, like, in between where it's, like, a close fight. And I just feel like it's boring compared to other ults.
I kind of want to add on to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I want to add on to that. Where I think that sometimes fights can be close based on the enemy champion. Like if you're going against like a Fiora, then you can probably make the case that the fight would actually be like exciting. But then there's like some champs in the meta, like just like tanks and shit, where just it feels so fucking boring. You just beat them to death. And then like you always hit Q and there's no dodging. And they don't have a lot of abilities that you can dodge. It's all simple. And it just becomes an overall slugfest because they're tanky too. It's just really boring. So I agree with Mid Morde on that.
King, go ahead.
I got two more comments. All right. One, I've heard a couple different opinions talking about adding a dot to Mordekaiser's R because it would help you catch those pesky veins that kite you. But you also got to think of the inverse. What if you find yourself ulting someone else who's more important in a team fight? Like maybe the Zyra who's fucking fed and damaging everybody with her, like those stupid AP supports that deal more damage than their AP mid lanes. Those guys, or a Hecarim jungle, right? Think about these guys; they aren't going to be able to kite as well as an AD carry. So imagine how fucking OP and ridiculous and unfun and completely broken a dot that slows you every single second while you're in the death realm, while Mordekaiser's already sped up, is going to feel for those players. I think that's the reason why Riot Games would never add a dot, because it would balance the fight for ranged champions, but it would make it completely broken against anyone who is not ranged, which might actually encourage Mordekaiser players to start targeting non-AD carry champions and just, hey, I took away the peel, you guys can kill the AD carry now, let me go kill their jungler, or let me go kill their top lane, or whatever. In addition, I really want to, I noticed this wasn't in the talking points, but this has been my bone to pick for years. Pro players suck with Mordekaiser, okay? We're talking 2015 LCS. You see them taking Mordekaiser bot lane, rushing Triforce.
King. We will get to this. We'll get to this. I have added.
Okay.
Because this will be a talk about Proplay.
Perfect. I didn't see it. My bad.
For that, we can talk about new, of course, in the Proplay. But let's move on. Before we move on, actually, I'll give a bit of my take. I just remember, back in the day, old Morde used to do with Kaizer. We would play Morde Mumu bot, and this bot was very decent. I mean, it was deadly, guys. It was deadly. I just remember I had like the biggest balls. I had courage to go in every time because I knew I had Mordekaiser behind me, and his Amumu's passive synchronized so well with Mordekaiser because you give the true damage. And I mean, I just remember, and it's now impossible to do this. We have tried, and it's not good at all. We've entered a lot of games, so let's move on to lore. So there has been, of course, new voice lines. Total rework. VU, all of this. I want to start off. I've seen a lot of fan art of new Morde, and it looks beautiful. I mean, definitely a big change. I think a very good change. And Riot, they're very good at the visual side of the game. Of course, the music as well. So I think in terms of visual, he looks amazing. His voice lines, though, I remember old mode voice lines a lot better. I think old mode voice lines were more memorable. Maybe this is because I have nostalgia or something, but but yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the new, the voice lines, the visual update, lore changing?
I think that I like the voice actor and I like the quality and the filters they put on the voice, but I think the actual voice lines themselves, they're like kind of cringe. They lack character. It kind of feels generic, like a very generic like general. Whereas if you go to the old Mord ones, that they're kind of like comedic and a little funny, and it adds a lot of character and color to Mordekaiser as a person. But I like I actually kind of like the new visuals better because I think even though like there's more they could do with the old Mord visuals with the thematics and shit, I think there's way more that you can do with the new ones in my opinion. Um, especially when it comes to fan art and like when it comes to like the shape of Mord and what Mord can be, because he can also have the crown and shit, and that's what I like. One thing I wish Old Mord had. If there's one thing I didn't like about the new visuals was the lack of a cape. I really think they missed the mark on that, in my opinion.
Okay, here's
Fucking Edna Mold up in here.
Yeah. Wait, what?
So King,
That's an
I know
Incredibles reference, by the way.
looking like TikTok girl, so you can go.
Oh.
All right, 2 words: Beetleborg. New Mordekaiser looks like a fucking Beetleborg. There's 2 Batman. I think whoever made Mordekaiser's new helmet is just probably a fucking fan of what is that hero with the really long? It's not just Batman. It's someone else. Just stupidly long. Probably a big fan of DC Comics. This helmet looks stupid. And then they had to change all of his other skins. King Mord looked like a fucking decent skin before they ruined it.
Oh
with
my
these 2 big
god,
old
King
golden
of Clubs
spikes.
is fucking
All right?
terrible.
His helmet doesn't look balanced anymore. It just looks stupid. And his mace, it's a Thresh Lantern on a stick. All right? Let's not pretend like Riot Games knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to being cool. They just wanted to make the mace. They wanted the animation for the mace when it swings down because they were going to change his Q to look cool. So they made it into this cone shape, and they're like, "Oh, Thresh Lantern. Let's do that because Shadow's Isle. Mordekaiser's Shadow's Isle, right? I'm not going to look at the fucking lore." So I hate his visuals, okay? But as far as his voice lines go, I'll say I like that he talks to different champions. I walk in and land against Darius. I love it. You claim strength, Darius. Prove it. That sounds cool as shit, all right? The only thing I missed about old Mordekaiser's lines was you need only click once full. I don't really care for the rest of his lines. Misery loves company. What the fuck is that? No pain, no drain. That sounds stupid.
Okay,
I like my weapons like I like my music. Heavy and metal. So what? It's a gimmick. He's a heavy metal champion. We get it. You don't need to beat a dead horse. But I love his new voice lines and the fact that he interacts with different champions. I think that's cool. I think it's a step in the right direction. Fucking agree that there's no capes. That's some Incredibles bullshit. There's no planes that Mordekaiser's cape is going to get stuck in. Where's his cape? They gave him a fucking tarp on the back of his Malicious Metal. How did you let that get through? Why didn't you tell him give him a cape? Oh, of course.
Okay, I was just saying, what I actually like about his cape, or well, if you would call it lack thereof, well, first of all, like I like the banners. It makes him look like architecture, which is like the visual motif they want to go with. And also, like if you play on like right side of thing, you see his back, you can see like the red armor, and that's a really cool visual. So I actually like that they kind of reduced the cape a bit, so you can see like all the effort that went into like designing his armor. But I agree on like King of Clubs, or like his cape is pathetic. Should be bigger, should be fluffier. Also, like the horns, I actually really like those 2 horns. Here's the problem though, like they're extremely inconsistent between all the splash art and concept art. Like some concept art was way cooler because they were way pointier and sharper. In game, they're kind of blocky, but I think that's just because they're trying to make it look good from a top-down perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
And,
like just in terms of like, I think like objectively speaking, like Newmore has more places to go in terms of lore anyway than old one. And what was the other one? It's on the tip of my tongue. Incidental notes.
So
I like talking about like him having more memorable lines when he was, the old one. Riot's kind of moving away from like having like serious champions be like comedic. You've seen him with Fiddlesticks. New Fiddlesticks is super fucking edgy. Like I love New Fiddlesticks, but yeah, like he's not this weird scarecrow dude anymore. Same thing with Volibear. They kind of move away from having those corny, cheesy lines, which is like you like on one hand, it's cooler that they're trying to make champs live up to their champion thematic, but it's also like it's this kind of very cheesy, very early like 2010s edge that they're trying to remove, which can be kind of sad, especially if you're like start back then. Like this is like the big thing with like a lot of new champion reworks that just streamline things. So like that means like that some rough edges get removed for better or for worse. So yeah, like I still like old more like a lot.
I'm gonna add a few things if I can. I really don't know anything about lore, and I think his visuals for the most part are pretty good, except for like they kind of shafted him on a couple skins. Like they give a couple skins like cool visual effects, like Infernal has like red like grip when you E and like has red effects, but then like King of Clubs still has the all green colors like when you use E, or like the other skin, some other skin has it too. Like why
Lord Morde and Dragon Knight?
Lord Morde and Dragon Knight, yeah.
Why did they not just commit to all of the skins? Why did they have to shaft?
Oh, okay, fun fact here. We wouldn't even have gotten like cool passive colors or like W colors. That was all made by like one VFX dude on his free time. It was literally like executive direction. They were like, yeah, you can work more on that. And that sucks. Like if someone's passionate and wants to do more fucking visuals for the champion, should have let him. So yeah, I mean, a lot of skins are fucking shafted because of that. Especially
they should have just kept them all default then, in my opinion, because it definitely feels half-assed when you have all these.
It's very inconsistent.
And then you have these other skins, especially like Dragon Knight. That's my favorite, and I love the update. But it's like it's not as good. And you know, you were talking about the Fiddlesticks rework. Like, why does Fiddlesticks and Volley and Pantheon all get very similar abilities to what they had before, but Morde's abilities are all different? Like, why can't they stick and be consistent with their like redesigns? Like, why do they get a good update and Morde is completely different? You know?
Yeah.
Because it's high maintenance. They wanted to remove Mordekaiser's old R because it was a punitive upkeep for them. Mordekaiser's low play rate did not justify the time that they spent fixing the bugs that every new release created because it didn't interact with this spaghetti code. So that's one part. Two, they lied about spending months and months and months in development for this rework. You can tell that because A, the half-assed VFX, the half-assed skins. C, I was in contact with them for an entire year, right up until the month that they told me, oh, by the way, we told you last week that we haven't even begun the rework. Now it's too far along for us to include anybody. We're not inviting anybody. Oh, by the way, 1 month later, we flew 2 people out. Hey, sorry, we forgot you. Like that's just what happened. There's no bad blood that 2 other people got to be a part of it. I'm happy for them. Actually happy for you, Malicious Metal. It's fucking cool. Congratulations. Hope you got some autographs while you were there. But it doesn't change the fact that they half-assed it. And they did everything in just a really non-logical manner. You got a 4 million mastery Mordekaiser main 2 hours away from Riot HQ, asking a year in advance to drive up to Riot HQ on his own time, his own money to help, not to force my opinions, not to be a yes man, just to help, just to offer my input on behalf of the Mordekaiser main community, because I don't think that I'm the minority in thinking that his old R was cool, all right? And they said, no, we're going to fly 2 guys out from overseas instead last minute. And the logic there is just weird, okay? And you know that they did it then you know they rushed the rework. You know it. And it's a shame. So I'm glad that you had a part in it, but they did not give Mordekaiser the same level of love and attention, as Mordekaiser said, as they did the other rework. That's a fact. Even in 2015, they reworked completely Poppy and Mordekaiser. Poppy got new skins, new visual updates, and a fucking champion spotlight. And Riot Games did not give. Right? No, it's not different. It's not different. They were both released in the same. They were both released in 2015. Mordekaiser did not get any updates. All he did was get some new skills. Okay, he got a Dragonic passive. He did not get an update visually. He did not get a champion spotlight. Mordekaiser's W was the longest skill description in the fucking game. Nobody ever read it. Nobody knew how it fucking worked. If anybody watched my stream, you knew that as soon as I jumped into Champion Select, the first thing I was doing is being fucking cringy and saying, hey guys, do you know how to use Mordekaiser's ally heal?
oh, gee, it's really easy. You just get the circle on the enemy jungle or the enemy champions for a 250% heal. It's 750 HP. It's amazing.
Okay,
And then
okay,
I go
okay. I know I said it's going to be hit. It's going to get
It didn't
crazy.
give any attention on Mordekaiser. He's been
Yes,
on the
yes,
child
and
since
I mean, hey, I
season
have
one.
to, I have to agree slightly with the King here. Definitely seems, Fiddlesticks, he got his own like cinematic, which I was very scared, by the way, when I saw it. And Volibear, yeah, he has very similar abilities, and it seems like this could be true that they're going off as a community reaction, and community wanted Mordekaiser art to go away, and so they did it. And it could also be that they rushed it, and maybe did not put as much time as it was needed. But Malicious, I think you have a disagreement
so
with him.
there's like two different ways here. Like Morde didn't get a fucking champion via let's go again. Like a champion spotlight in 2015 because it was a class update. New Darius, Garen, and all the other class updates that followed didn't get that because it's different. Class updates was something they did away with anyway because it was like community reaction was always split. You've seen Rengar's class update. That one got rewarded. LeBlanc got rewarded. A lot of tanks updates got rewarded. Poppy got a full VTU that's like VO, lower, everything else. Morde didn't get a champion spotlight back then because no one else did out of those class updates. What I agree on is that new Morde got shafted on the marketing department, like all across the board. He didn't get an actual proper champion spotlight, by the way. He got a champion preview. Every other rework got a champion update, champion spotlight. Also, he's one of the big baddies, and he didn't get a goddamn fucking cinematic. So yeah, he got shafted in terms of fucking
Oh, that's true.
spotlight.
He also didn't even get a login screen. He was the champion right before him was the last champion or rework to get one, and then Morde came out, and that was when they cut it off. So we didn't even get an animated login screen for Morde.
No. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there was a champion that came out right after his rework, right? Or like they announce
After him was Pantheon.
Yeah, Pantheon.
Yeah,
Pantheon
Pantheon.
before him.
Wait, who came right after? Because I swear, like right after they announced the rework, it was Pantheon.
Was it?
Yeah, no, like a champion, like an actual champion.
Yeah, I think he's right. I forgot.
Yeah, no,
Was
the new
Yone,
champion
right?
was Pantheon after him, and he didn't have an animated login. But before Morde was Kiana, who had an animated login.
No, it was 200 years came out. That's why.
So yeah, there was a champion that came out right after Morde's like rework got announced. Like they did teasers and trailers like a week or two later, and like everyone completely overshadowed the rework because they already announced a new champion or new project that was coming out.
It was Kiana that came out like 15 days later than the Mordekaiser rework.
There you go. He got completely overshadowed.
Actually, I feel like Morde overshadowed Kiana. No one
Yeah, he
cared
did.
about Kiana, and everyone was playing Morde, and TFT overshadowed both Morde and Kiana because they all came out around the same time.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
but no one cared about Kiana.
Hey,
I think we all know this.
I'm not being ironic. I don't even know what champion Kiana is. I'm totally serious. I don't even know. What is
But
Kiana?
it doesn't matter
Broken
because
champion.
she kind of got shafted over and over again, and she's not in play, she's not in solo queue. You don't see her. She's not broken anymore, so it doesn't matter. You don't even need to know.
Please, just for my sanity, what does Kiana do?
She's a jungle girl, so she has like her double has like 3 elements.
Yeah, she
Oh,
has,
okay,
Yeah.
I remember her now. Okay, I'm done. Thank
she
you.
has the hula
Yes.
hoop and the big.
Yeah, hula hoop. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and she is also on
Sorry for the
KDA,
tangent.
right? She's on KDA or some
Nah,
band.
it's 2 damage. It's
True
Oh,
damage.
2 damage,
Just
whatever.
skin
Yeah.
line no one cares about.
No
Yeah, yeah.
three yet still. Took him like
Cringe,
I don't know
cringe.
how
It's all
long.
for the normies. It's for the K-pop fans. Okay, so RaidBoss, we didn't really talk too much. What do you want to add to this about the visual update and lore or whatever you want to talk about? RaidBoss is not here. Okay, Anubis.
I'm
Yes,
here, I promise.
Okay.
Now you're here.
Yeah. So as far as the visuals and the lines, everything like that goes, I think they did a great job. I actually have no problems with any of that. All of my problems just stem from the gameplay. I think what they did with Morde, he was kind of cheesy before. I'll say that. The lines, how he looks, it's good now. That's all I
Okay.
have to add.
Fair enough. Okay, Anubis, what are your thoughts on visual new mode?
I can't say anything about voice lines because I speak in Spanish and
Yeah, it's different.
Well,
Spanish
how are the
is
voice
not
lines
that
in
good.
Spanish? Are they good?
Guys, no, it's not. No, it's no, it's so bad. Yeah, and the visuals, I think it's good. Um, could be better, but what will make it better will be the cape and the the
The
fear
middle
horn.
horn.
Yes, at the middle horn and the
Oh,
red
the horn, yes.
red eyes. That's what I like about Mordekaiser in the first place.
Okay. And let's go with Kaiser. So Kaiser, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you already know when you watch my stream, you never see me using a skin, right? Like, I'm always using the classic skin, because
Damn.
that's the only one that's
Damn.
complete. That's literally the only one that's complete, alright? Like, literally every single
I
other
think
skin.
Pentakill skin looks pretty good actually.
Yeah, I only use Pentakill or Infernal, because, like, Infernal is actually, like, a really, really good skin, especially for its price. It's
Yeah.
only
So
worth, like,
cheap.
520, and
Yeah.
it literally has, like, recolored abilities, and it's like, I mean, I guess it's like, you know, it's all bright red, and that's how it should be. And same with Pentakill. Pentakill has like dark red, and it even has a different dance and stuff. But like, I don't know why. I don't know, man. Like the other skins, like when I'm playing King of Clubs, my Death Realm isn't yellow and stuff, and my abilities aren't yellow, so it's just like, it just looks so weird, man. Like why? And then people say like they like that skin more than the other skins, which just doesn't even make sense to me, honestly, because
No, it really doesn't. And I think also they missed an opportunity doing Pentakill 3 when they reworked Morde. I think it would have been pretty good. But I don't know if they're doing it actually, but like if they are, it's so late. Like we're like a year and a half in with new Morde and shit. It's just really late. They could have done
Okay.
something with
And
that.
Nikki, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that most of us agree that the visuals in general, like the whole champion, it looks like really cool compared to the old one. I mean, I know we all love Pit's feet and everything that he had with the mace and everything. Like, it was
Yeah.
really cool. It's
Yeah.
iconic. It's an all the old artwork. Like, it's just like a piece of art basically. But the new one is still like, it's still a very cool and nicely made
okay, wait,
whole theme and everything
Yeah.
in general.
wait, did you,
Huh?
wait, so you're telling me you like the pizza feet?
No, I'm saying that it's iconic. It might have not been for everyone, but it's like it's a big meme in the community. It's like a nicely remembered thing, even though we all know that that's not what good coding or good visual design works, right?
Yeah, I
Fun
mean,
fact, old Mordekaiser's model was the longest lasting character model in the game of League of Legends. It wasn't updated for 9 whole years. So
But they updated
that's why it was
they
so
updated the
iconic.
texture. They
Yeah.
made it less shiny.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a
So
few other things that I want to
yeah.
slot here. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So I mean, like, as it was also said, like the whole rework, etc., was probably just like a rush very fastly, very poorly made, as like Malicious Metal kind of said there. And on the skins, like King of Clubs Mordekaiser kind of went from like the daddy of League of Legends into like Grandma's like golden platter. It's like kind of just dog shit skin now. I think Lord used to be like his coolest skin. Like it was very clean to use, and now it's just like some purple color. It's like really fucking fucked. Um, and I don't know, you guys don't like Dragon Knight more, but I actually like the skin myself. I don't know what it is, just hammer
you're
probably,
trolling.
but I really like the skin. It's like probably my second most used skin. I mean, I use it on when I smurf around, etc.
It's not a
So
mace though, it's a
but
hammer. Where are the
yeah, it's
McDonald
a hammer.
colors?
Yeah, yeah,
We used to
yeah.
have a Tony Stark
Okay,
McDonald
okay.
Mordekaiser. And we had a
You know,
dragon
I
on the
think
cape. A dragon on the
so,
cape.
so, some of these skins, definitely maybe lower quality than
Yeah,
compared to others, but overall it's mostly preference,
yeah.
and there's no problem with liking Dragon. I have personally not even seen it honestly, because I don't even own it. I haven't seen Kaiser use it. He's the only one I've seen play new mod. So anything last thoughts, Nikki?
Yeah, okay. So I think the biggest thing that everyone forgot, I don't know how you fucking managed to do this, but his old ability names. Why
Oh
was it not
yeah,
brought
the
up?
the
They
metal
were all
references.
metal references.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Like I don't
think
know
the
how you
current.
guys forgot that, but that was like another
No,
golden
I
thing
I
Riot
don't pay
ever did.
attention.
There's still
See, the
metal
thing,
references though.
yeah, but they're like zoomer metal, man. That's
Yeah.
not like the
Right.
It
best
doesn't matter.
metal.
No, it doesn't matter what references they are. They were still like cool references that Riot Game didn't implement on the new Mordekaiser, and I don't think they've implemented them on any abilities or anything like that. So I think it's kind of sad to see that go.
I
But I think
mean,
that's all I have to say.
You know,
for the,
actually, that's an
this round.
interesting question. So, do you guys all listen to metal? Or
Yeah.
at least like
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone. Okay,
Depends
King.
on the mood. If I'm in a good mood, yeah, love it.
Okay. This is what I thought. You know, I personally don't like metal, but it's some songs here and there. You know. So anything about the lore, guys? We haven't really talked about the lore specifically. So, King, you want to start this off?
I'm going to assume that Malicious Metal is a fucking expert on the new lore.
Yeah.
Okay, I read it. I'm not a fan, but I'm going to talk about the old, and I'll let whoever wants to chime in go ahead. Old Mordekaiser, for those of you guys that don't know, came from a distant land. His original lore, his little paragraph is what Riot used to do. Little introductory paragraphs said that he had an army. There was something about the way he carried himself that suggested he was more than just a dark spawn. That's not verbatim, but essentially they alluded to the fact that he had leadership qualities, that he led an army. It sounded fucking cool. I remember when he first came out. He sounded cool. It's one of the reasons I picked him up. And then later they released an old story talking about Mordekaiser invading this hamlet, and it was really well written. He ends up going up against this knight who has Demacian steel, so he was a badass by Hamlet terms. Mordekaiser made short work of him. The guy had tons of skill, even thrust a sword into his, I forget into his armor, but it was hollow on the inside. The knight was horrified, like, oh, my sword, it didn't do anything. And then Mordekaiser picks him up by the neck and says, you thought you would protect these people, but no, it will be you who slays them. What a badass line. He's fucking evil, okay? But he's just a badass. I'm going to make you little upstart hero bitch. You thought you were going to protect your teammates, but you're going to kill them on my behalf. Old Mordekaiser encompassed that theme perfectly. Steal the enemy AD carry. Oh, you spent little support. You spent all 20 minutes of this game carefully cultivating and raising this beautiful child into a grown-ass adult AD carry. Now I'm going to make him kill you, all right? I'm going to kill your own support. It's hilarious. It's fun making duos kill each other. It's fun telling your teammates to 4-man bot lane while you take the AD carry to Baron, and solo Baron while the enemy's forced to protect their inhibitors. Mordekaiser was a general, he was a warlord, and he was very, very, what's the word? When you think. Somebody help me out here. Strategic. He was extremely strategic. New Mordekaiser doesn't feel like he's strategic. He doesn't feel like a warlord. He just feels like a meme. I'm going to yeet you into the Shadow Realm. That's it.
I mean,
so that's my opinion, and that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I just want to say that like the new lore is like it's just it's an updated version of the old one. Like they just added onto it. Like I'm not I don't know too much about the lore either, but like all I know is that like he's basically just the same general, and he's like building the afterlife that he was denied. And,
Yeah, kind of like add to that because like that's kind of my forte. Like technically they kept all of the old lore. Like he was a domineering warlord in life, and then when he died, he thought he would get to basically Valhalla, but there was nothing, and he was like, yeah, this sucks. I'm gonna build my own afterlife. So technically it's a step up. He's technically a god of death now because he has his own afterlife in the spirit realm, which is like it already like puts up the stakes way more because his conquest extends over the realms of the living, the dead, and the spirits. So it's way cooler in that he's like way larger scope.
Yeah,
Also,
Hold up. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
Also, like what I wanted to say, like about his old lore, he was literally there in Noxus slums, jerking off over people getting sick. Like he was just a plague bringer. That was so weird.
That's kind of based.
Yeah. Also,
Hey, people like what they like, man. All right, don't judge. Don't keep saying.
I just want to.
Kind of one thing.
Hey, Malicious Metal, this is coming from somebody with a fetish for people in armor.
That armor's
give us
hot,
that.
okay?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. but back to what you said that his new lore is a continuation. KaiserMorde also said that. I really don't agree. New Mordekaiser is, in my opinion, just a bitch who said, "Oh, I died. I'm going to create a meaningless kingdom in the afterlife." Who fucking cares? There's a kingdom in the afterlife. You rule a dominion of the dead. Who cares?
Because you
What are
want
you
to
going to do with
conquer
that?
the realm.
Oh, hold up. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. You don't interrupt me. Old Mordekaiser, he just kept coming fucking back. He got some necromancers to bring him back to life, and his whole shtick was, I'm going to fuck over the living world, and I'm going to rule it, and if you kill me, I'm coming back. You can't stop me.
He still has
That was cool.
He still has that.
He doesn't really, though. He doesn't have an army, okay? He doesn't take out armies by himself anymore.
He does. It's in the law. Okay,
Really,
he does have an army
it's
now.
really fed.
You know, guys, we have a lot more to talk about. You know, lore. Let's just realize lore doesn't really matter.
I kind of wanted to add
it's just
something
another
to
thing.
what King said.
Okay, Shadow, you can say one thing and we'll on.
I think it's a small thing, but I think King's point where he had this like this like kind of badass like attitude where he said like you're gonna be the one who's gonna kill everyone. That kind of adds into the whole like he's more of like his own character. It gives him more personality, that kind of thing. I really like that idea that he had.
Okay, and I believe Kaizer, you have something to say as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm pretty sure what King is saying is that like his gameplay doesn't fit up to the lore, the new lore, but like I would say it kind of does, because you're basically just taking someone into your realm and beating them up. So yeah, it's just like it just doesn't. I don't know. There was even like artwork that Riot released where you could like see like slaves in his death realm. Like I'm pretty sure everyone's seen that, right?
Oh yeah, I can probably link it somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish they
okay.
just went through with something like that, but.
Yeah, I agree. So we've talked about Old Morde a lot, so let's move on. It's new season, 2021, new year. Season 11 itemization and the runes. How does it feel? How does it feel, guys? How does the new items? Is there multiple build paths, or is it only one build and this is the only build that works? Or how is it?
Okay, can I just say something? Rip old Leandries. That shit sucks. You'll be missed. But
F in the trap, boys. F in the trap.
F in the chat for the Leandris.
F in the trap for Leandris right now. Or you're banned from the stream.
So, actually, I want to start out with Kaizer, because, he is the highest elo, and he has been spamming it since season 11 has started. So what are your thoughts on the items?
To be honest, I think Riftmaker's really broken in team fights, but I mean, as of now, like Morde has like two really good mythics that you can go. It's either Proto Belt or Riftmaker.
Riftmaker, yeah.
And yeah, I mean.
Wait. Before you continue, King, which is the third one?
You guys are gonna laugh, but 600 mana is not that much of a deal.
Oh no!
I
know what it is.
Every boss is amazing. Okay, hold up. Let me defend it. Okay, I'm not kidding you. I have 10 accounts. I played my placements on all of them. I tried Riftmaker. I tried Protobelt. They all have their uses, right? Protobelt is really good for gap closing against those guys with lots of mobility. But sometimes Protobelt's not going to get you away if you're trying to survive. What can I say? Everfrost can stun a group of enemies, help you pull them all to you, help you trigger your passive very quickly. It can help you save somebody. It can help you escape somebody. It's actually really good, but it's not good. It's not good for every game. It's only going to be good in some games. I'm still trying to theory craft it and work it out, but I've hard carried games with Everfrost specifically. And there are games where if you're able to deal consistent damage over extended periods of time, then yes, Riftmaker is the best item, because you're getting so much bonus spell vamp, omni vamp, you're getting so much bonus damage. And so the extended fight where Conqueror comes in handy is really great. But what about those lanes where Conquer is not really doing anything for you. You don't really get those extended fights. You only get the burst trades because the enemy can get away very quickly. Everfrost helps you not only extend the fight a little bit longer, it also guarantees that you will land your combo, because even if you don't land the Everfrost, if you get it pretty close, you will slow them, and it makes it a lot easier to land E and Q. It's not bad. I highly recommend everybody try it before you knock it. The 600 mana fucking sucks, and it's a very expensive item. But it's not bad, and you get bonus AP for every legendary item you get. So I'm trying to get my ELO to the point where people will stop laughing.
Yeah, you know, King.
Wait till I get there, and then we'll see if it's actually.
You're
good.
saying, you know, you carry hard carry games. I mean, you cannot really say this when you know, gold, silver.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, no offense, but all
you are
those
in
count.
gold, silver.
No offense taken. No offense taken.
Okay,
Completely
so maybe if we have Kaizer, maybe try it out in his stream tonight or tomorrow. Frost, I would like to see it. Now
we're gonna need more Twitch primes for
It's
that.
worth mentioning though, I'm a married man now. I don't get enough time to play League of Legends anymore. I've got real life happening. I'm working with YouTubers right now. I'm literally fucking treasure hunting across the world right now. That's really exciting. But I don't have a lot of time for League anymore. But because of pandemic, my wife's been playing a lot of Mobile Legends. That's the Chinese version of League of Legends.
Yes,
She's just been playing on the couch, so I get to play and stream League a lot more often than normal. That's why I've been able to play a little bit more. But when I first started, I had no idea what all the new fucking items were. I was really confused by the shop. And, you know, change is scary, obviously. When things change, people like me, the older boomers, we don't adjust well to change. We like doing things the same way. And just small things at a time we can adjust to. But when things change drastically, it's really difficult to adjust. So I'm still learning about all the new items. But I kind of like Everfrost, and I'm not sure about Abyssal Mask yet, but I kind of like the ability to immobilize the enemy and then deal that 10% extra bonus damage. And it's not just you dealing it, your entire team deals it. So even if you're lacking in damage, your entire team will be dealing more damage, and you immobilizing the enemy every 20 seconds with Everfrost is really good. I mean, there are ultimates in this game on 60, 70-second cooldowns that don't do as much as Everfrost does on a 20-second cooldown. So just something to think about.
It does sound like a possible item to go and we're going to have to see in higher elo, of course, but big respect to King. You know, he is a married man. It's good. You have to spend time with the wife, guys. It's all about the wife once you marry. It's all about or multiple wives.
Happy life.
So
oh no.
It's funny because you're Arabic.
let's talk about Mordekaiser. You want to talk about the items?
Oh no, I don't even really play that much. I don't know.
You haven't. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. What about Anubis? Anubis, how is it in American servers? How are the items you use?
When the enemy teams don't have much DPS, I like to build off tank with Mordekaiser because you force the carries to go to have long fights with you. They cannot kill you. You proc Conqueror easily, and you have the damage of to kill them. I rush the Demonic Embrace for the damage in early game because if not, you lane sucks. And then I will Sunfire is in English. Sunfire.
Yes.
So, maybe and then depends of the matchup. I will Spirit Visage maybe is in English. Spirit Visage.
Yes.
And Swordmail maybe.
Sword, yes. So you like to go to tank bass. You like to go
because you with the Demonic Embrace and the Sunfire, you have the damage to kill the carries, okay? And if they don't have the DPS to kill you, then they can burst you because you are tank, and you can kill the carries easily.
Wow. So I have not seen. You know, I'm just questioning KaiserMorde at this point because I've only seen him go the same build every damn game, and it's a bullshit, honestly. So Kaizer, what do you have to say to this?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it out. Yeah, I was watching him play.
Try it. It's good.
Yeah, I was watching him play earlier today too, and you know, it didn't seem too bad. So yeah, I'll have to try tank more. The thing is, like, I don't think it's something you would want to do every game though, right? Like, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, a lot of the times I end up just getting really fed, and you know, if my bot lane's inting, then I don't know.
Yes, your button's always ending, right? So.
Yeah, you always see me
Yeah, what's
complaining.
new?
But yeah.
Well, he did say it's if the enemy team does not have as much DPS, then you go the tanky route and you can fight them for longer.
Yeah.
RaidBoss, have you been playing recently? How do you like the change?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm real disappointed that Riot was like, preseason's coming, AP Bruiser itemization's coming, and then we got no more Leandres. They gave us Demonic, which is. Well, I'm not gonna compare those two. I'm sorry, Anubis. It's not nearly as good as Leandres. It's Yeah. And then the only other items we got like Cosmic Drive, which I don't even want to call an AP Bruiser item. That item is garbage. It gives 200 HP or something. The stats on it are really mediocre. None of our main core itemization even gives us ability haste. So while the AD Bruisers are running around with 100 plus ability haste, we're stuck with, I think it's like 35 late game if you go Hourglass Spirit Visage, which not everyone does. I don't know. I feel like the itemization could be a lot better. I think with the recent patch and the changes, it did help a bit, especially the little Morde buff. They gave Riftmaker, they doubled the HP on it, which is great. We lost some Vamp, but I think in all the direction they're going is better, but I'd still like to see more items that we can use. Because I know even champions like Singed, he's struggling too. He built the same items as Morde. It's not just Morde, so I feel like we just need better itemization.
I wanted to add here is like all of the AP Bruiser items we got, they got abused by mages, and then they got nerf after nerf after nerf. It's always like that.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, one big problem about AP Bruiser items is pretty much just, Akali. Like,
Yep.
she uses Riftmaker, like, I don't know, she can abuse it better than Morde can. Because, she has so many dashes and sticking potential, so it's a lot easier for her to reach the or stick onto enemies, once you get the 15% damage boost. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that's why it's really hard to balance Morde in the first place, because there's just other champions that uses items better. What's another example? I mean, there's a
No,
couple.
that's
I think there's...
interesting. So, do you
There's
think it?
people who do double burn items, like Brand.
Yeah,
And
what,
that
Yes.
shit.
what were you saying, Mahmoud?
Yeah. So, do you think it is because of the champion? Because we have seen, like, for example, Shibo, like Yone is using it, Yasuo is using it. Like the champions who aren't supposed, it's supposed to be for ADCs. So, is this because of the champions? Like, are the champions broken, or is
I
it
mean,
the item?
the thing
Riot
is,
doesn't have any idea what to do, or what?
I think, like, if you use an example like Yasuo and Yone, like, they technically are 80. Well, actually, Yone's an assassin, but Yone's just like, let's be real, he's just broken, man. Like, we already know, we've seen him.
Yes, I think we agree.
Yeah, but like Yasuo, he's like a melee ADC, so I mean, he's designed to build that item, so
Yeah.
like, yeah, they don't really have another option. But like, when you see a champion like Akali building Riftmaker, it's just like, it's probably one of her best options other than like Night Harvester, but like, the thing is, she's not really designed to build Riftmaker, but
Just
she can
restrict
still...
all Kali players from building it? Is that your solution?
So is it because
Yeah.
Riot is just terrible at making new changes and like the item, is it a failure? The
Well,
item
I mean, the thing is, I feel like Akali is just a really big problem for balance
The champion.
wise. Yeah,
Yeah,
like if you
she's
look
just
at, if you take a look at the AD items, like, there aren't really like they're not scared to like buff or nerf Core Drinker, Like with
No, they're
Riftmaker,
not.
they just
OP.
leave it unchanged. But like,
So,
when you
like-
take a look at the AD class, like, what champion is there that's like there's no like Akali for like that, like the class that builds those other types of items. I feel like Akali's like actually like a really, really big problem.
I think Talon is in a little bit of a similar boat with his current build with Gore Drinker.
Yeah.
In some way.
Assassins
Also-
shouldn't be sustained champions.
Yeah, no, he's
yeah.
definitely
Shadow,
shouldn't.
you continue, Shadow.
Yeah, one thing that I really like about, even though like sure our items might be a little bit shittier, but I like how there's a lot more you can build now, because when I played Morde in season 10, I literally built the exact same 6 items every game, and now there's a lot more options. I also like I don't know. Like I know you've been complaining about the ability haste. I was gonna ask if you're trying out Ionian boots lately because they feel pretty good. They're definitely better than sorcerers in most cases. Also, I like Lichbane in those rare cases where you can actually get away with building it. It's actually pretty fun. You can just delete people.
Okay, and let's go to Nikki, and Malicious can have the final.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say I respect the daring to try new items, like very controversial items, like King of Elohell going Everfrost and Anubis going for Sunfire Ages. I love to see it. Nobody does that shit. It's very unique, but I really love that
Gotta be
people are
snowflakes.
doing these new things. Yeah, because this is how you're gonna find something that can actually be really strong, and like really broken. Like the new things, this is how you find them. One thing is like I cannot really agree on the Everfrost as much as the Sunfire. I mean, like we all know Mordekaiser has like cancer bad like AP ratios in the first place, so the 15 AP you get per mythic item's not really gonna do much for him. On the other hand, I think Sunfire could actually be a legit item, and how Anubis wants to justify it is like not dying early and going for those longer sustained fights. That's like exactly what Mordekaiser wants to do. That's exactly where Mordekaiser's like good right now. Like if you get into long fights, you're really good to go. Um, so that's one
Get
thing
some
where
team comps.
I'll agree for sure. And
Yeah,
Get
and
some team
on the
comps.
whole
You don't get that
items,
extended fight.
I mean you can, but it's yeah probably case game to game depends on what items you actually want to build for. But it's just good to see like people trying new items and like finding new ways to try in like different types of games. But yeah, the whole Riftmaker change, it's also like I'm not sure who the change was actually made for, like
It was for
losing
Morde
on
mainly.
Omnivamp. Wait, was it for Mordekaiser?
Yeah.
Because then I'm really just like baffled what Riot Games is actually thinking when they're doing these changes. Because we all know Mordekaiser is not a champion who has a lot of abilities that has a lot of AP ratio. If you ask me, I think his ratios are actually pretty bad.
I mean,
Like the queue is not that big, and then the passive is not that big. Let's say like if they make like Riftmaker to lose Omnivamp, but then give it like a lot more AP, I feel like that's going to benefit exactly the champion that's the issue in the first place, like Akali who has good AP ratios. I do think that it also does buff Singed to some extent because the changes that they made to Singed like a long time ago was make him like do less damage as tank and more as AP. So the AP is gonna help him a little bit. I think they just need to gut the champions honestly and not the items too much.
okay, before we go to Malicious, I think we can all agree that the newer items allows for, like, you can do a lot more things, a lot more creativity. And from what Shadow said, he was building the same build every game in previous seasons.
Yeah, no,
So I mean,
same
we can,
6 items. It's
yeah, I mean,
terrible.
I think we can all agree on this. And I remember even Kaizer would make, he just had one build, like, it was exclamation point build, and you had one build, and that is it. You should follow it. So Malicious, continue.
Oh well, there's not much to add other than like we have like a couple solid mythic items. There's a lot more diverse in terms of what you can build. Like there's like second and third item. I usually like sometimes I like getting Ryla second, sometimes demonic, sometimes even Nashors. Also opinions on Nashors last time. Most of us kind of memed on it. But I think it's one of the stronger items he has, honestly.
yeah, I think Nashor's is really good. Also, um, wait, are we moving on to the next topic or?
No, I was going to say last thoughts for anyone.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about. I mean, this isn't really itemization, but I want to talk about like Morde's early game and laning phase. Or are we gonna talk about that later, or can I mention it now?
I think this is like it's going to be a sub like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. So
Okay.
we can have Nikki. Nikki wants to add one slide thing.
Right. So on the controversial builds and everything, there's still one thing that was mentioned before, apparently not found to be working anymore, and that's gonna be bottom lane Mordekaiser. I think it's still fine. It works. Like as long as you have a engaged support that has a little bit of their own damage, something like Nautilus and Pike, and you just run Mordekaiser with Flash Ignite and Nimbus Cloak, you can completely destroy the bottom lane. And the benefit of doing that is having a lot more agency in the game in general, because, you know, junglers left bottom lane, dragons on bottoms out of the map. It's like you can snowball really hard with that build. All you gotta do is just build Sork boots, don't be a pussy and buy Rocket build, and you're like, it's to go. Trust me, works.
Let me add on to
Okay.
that real quick, though. Like, the problem with the new Morde, like playing bot lane, is that he's not really a snowball champion like old Morde. Like old Morde had crazy like AP and AD scaling, so when you got snowballing, you would actually benefit from like buying these expensive items from getting all these kills. But
One
new Morde damage is so low and it scales per level. Like, how are you gonna, take over a game?
My main
So-
complaint with Morde ADC, it's his level scaling on Q. I really don't like it. It just basically puts him behind in gold value.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, that is a good
there's one
point.
thing. When you ask about like how can he snowball in the lane, you have to imagine this. When you play as an ADC against a Mordekaiser, what do you hate the most? Being ulted. Now imagine being stuck into a lane with a Mordekaiser who can build Seekers and Tabies and kill a 3-item Draven. How is that fair in the first place? If you get a lead on Mordekaiser, you can shit stomp the bottom lane. Like every time you have ultimate, you ult their ADC and one shot them. And like there's
but
not a lot they can do about it. Like you
what
can
if
really
they-
push a lead, especially if you have a support that has like any sort of engage.
I feel you gotta be kind of realistic here, though. Like, you're not gonna win your early levels. You're so weak early compared to ADCs.
You can kill level 2.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
it depends
I
on
just want to mention
what-
that there's an item called Quicksilver Sash, and
1.3k gold tax,
Okay,
fine
it's-
with me.
yeah,
Well,
okay, if they
it's
rush
fine,
that,
it's
fellow,
fine.
as your
you just
fellow
ult the
bot laner,
support,
main,
man.
it really depends. Bot lane is all about the support, really. I mean, now you can make
Yeah.
exceptions about, champions like Samira, who is, beyond broken, and I will admit it. And, it really is all about the support main. So, who would you want as your support,
Right,
Nikki?
okay. So as I mentioned, two supports, Pike and Nautilus, are so far the two champs that I've had the best success with. I feel like Nautilus is the better one, and then Pike. Nautilus purely because like he is really tanky. He has really good amount of CC, and like if you just get like a level 2, you flash on them and you shit on them. Like if Nautilus hits an auto attack and Nautilus hits a Q, you can hit your E. You just like flash ignite on top of them, kill them level 2. Like it's doable. But yeah, as you said, it's a lot on the support. If you get an Arden support that's like an E bitch, you're not gonna do anything. That's just like unlucky. GG, go next.
Yeah, and
But
so I would say, yeah, Nautilus also because he is in the meta. He's in the meta right now.
Yeah.
What about Leona? I would think
Um,
Leona is very good, right?
I think Leona could be good, but I feel like Leona doesn't have as much damage as Nautilus, and then his CC is
Passive
more
gives
like
you more
That's why you
damage.
go PCA.
She
yeah,
does a lot.
like I can imagine Leona working, but I feel like it's easier to play against Leona as well than against the Nautilus. I just feel like Nautilus is stronger. I haven't had as much success with Leona than what I've had on Nautilus, but that's just like maybe my friend who's played like support for me is just like cannot play Leona, but Nautilus
Yeah,
is
I
like so
mean,
far the two
it
best
seems
that I
like
found.
you maybe have not had experience with the Leona, but like Leona, especially right now, she's in the meta. She's very broken, and I mean, if you're talking about level 2, maybe not level 2 with Leona. You can't really. You would want to have QWE, all 3 abilities. So once you get level 3, you can flash Q and they're dead,
Well,
and like you lens
I
the E as
also
well. It's double stun. So
Also, when I imagine that there's probably little counterplay to Nautilus just clicking R on you and then running you down. If you're in range, click R, they're just like that. Leona enemies can like flash and like dodge.
I mean, the thing
So I
with
feel like it's like easier to like force fights on Nautilus there.
I mean,
It's
if you're playing a double melee bot, it's like you're never gonna be able to walk up to the wave level 1 or 2. Like you literally just have to sit there, wait for them to push into you. Just you can't do anything. Like
Yeah.
they're just gonna poke you down, and then like you can get dove by the enemy jungle too. Once they build up a big wave, and you're both still gonna be level 1. Like that's why I don't know. I don't think Morde bot is good unless if you're facing like baboons or something. I don't know.
I just want to say, I don't necessarily agree. I think AP Bruiser at all not just specifically Mordekaiser, but I think an AP Bruiser with a tanky engaged support is always going to be viable bot lane. Before the 2015 rework, old Mordekaiser was in fact viable, extremely viable, even in high ELO bot lane. I just linked a Facebook post proving that. I used to duo with a Leona before the 2015 rework, about 8 months before Riot turned Mordekaiser into an ADC, and it's very powerful. I do agree that the same rules won't quite apply because old Mordekaiser got extra armor and magic resist on his W when he used it. And right up before his rework, he was actually able to cast his W on both himself and his ally, adding to the damage that they could deal. So he did make himself and his allies more tanky, all right? But I think that, hey, if you can hit two people with your Q in lane because your teammates CC'd them and the support's trying to peel for the AD carry who got caught, and you get your passive off, this is also ideal circumstances, but I think Russian Seekers is still the way to go. I think you could probably kick ass in most ELO with bot lane Mordekaiser. But if they're smart and they know how to play it and they don't get caught by the support, then yeah, you could get zoned pretty hard, especially because your abilities are on such long cooldowns now. So those are my thoughts there.
Well,
Yeah, it's definitely up for debate. I think maybe in high is doing it, but I think we have to move on to let's talk about more of the gameplay and let's talk about more of solo laning, right? So we don't see Mordekaiser as much in the mid lane. Of course, in Proplay we have seen him a lot more in the top lane. I mean, really only in the top lane. So what are you guys' thoughts on his mashups and how he plays the macro now?
Delete Fiora, please.
Pass one.
Yes.
Agreed.
I did.
Yeah,
I
delete
really.
Fiora so we can
I
ban
really
Kaiser
couldn't
again.
Dude, I just permaban Akali, dude. I really don't like that champ. Like, it kind of feels like that champion when laning against her. The only aside from her fucking up, if she plays perfectly, like you need like 3 items to challenge her
Yeah.
and to actually kill her and lock her down. It just feels really cancer. And I also don't want any of my teammates playing that champion either, so I just ban it.
Good point.
Okay. Anubis, you want to talk about it? You're also high elo, along with Kaizer. So, what are your thoughts on his mashups? And of course, beyond Fiora, we get it. We understand Fiora is terrible. What else though?
I think the worst matchup for Mordekaiser is Darius Ghost, Fiora, Aatrox, and that's it, maybe. Because they reach to you easily and you can't do anything. You have no mobility, you have no power to trade in early, and you have to wait for a mistake to do something.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like with New Mord, a lot of his matchups are like. Wait, who's back? Oh, I feel like a lot of his matchups are like. They kind of have to int into you. Like, I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. Most matchups, like the only good matchups New Mord really has are like champs that no one really plays, like Yorick and Alawi, and like what else is there? I mean, there's a few good matchups like tanks, like Ornn. Ornn is pretty good, and then there's Set. I would say Set's pretty good matchup for Mord, but most matchups like okay, one thing I really hate is that when you lock in Mord on your team, by default, like you're gonna be weak side, you know?
Yes.
Like you're accepting when you play Mord, you're accepting that you're gonna be weak side, and you're most likely not gonna get any jungle help because Mord isn't a champion that can do much, like when he gets a lead compared to like, if it's always better to play around like, the Samira or the Kai'Sa or the bot lane, especially since like in this current meta where dragons are so impactful.
I don't know. In every ELO I see, people give away the first 2 dragons and think, oh, we'll just fight the 3rd and the 4th. I
Well,
don't know about
actually,
that one. But I do agree the junglers will focus whoever can snowball the fastest.
the thing is, the first dragon is like not as valuable as first Rift Herald. First Rift Herald is definitely more valuable because you can get a lot of plates with it, and you'll get overall net gain in gold. And you know, first dragon, the stats that you get from it really don't mean that much. But wait, what was I saying before this? I literally forgot. Wait.
We were just talking
got
about that.
this.
Oh yeah, the matchups. Yeah, man. Like I don't know, but so many champions, especially like Aatrox, Fiora, Aurelia, like all these champs, like they're just too difficult for Morde to deal with, and you kind of have to, you can't trade with them early, you know. Like one thing I really hate is that Morde's early game is like so weak, dude. Like he has the weakest
Sure.
early game out of any other juggernaut, and you literally can't even walk up to the wave versus like a lot of the meta champs. Like yeah, like Aatrox, Fiora, Aurelia. Oh, what else is there? There's a bunch.
There's Rengar.
Yeah, Rengar. Like there's
Rengar, you
even
can't walk up until like
At
level
all.
3
even versus champs like Shen, like they just out trade you level 1 and 2, and it's like so frustrating.
True.
You have to.
Isn't it humiliating to be losing to AD melee champions that before the rework you used to take out the trash with, right? Yasuo, fucking easy lane. Zed, no problem. Renekton, he's one of the few AD melee champions that could even give Mordekaiser a run for his money because he can slice in, stun you, heal himself, and dice out before you can do anything. Jax, that's a slightly better matchup now because you've got your E to play around with his jump and his little stun helicopter. But other than those two matchups, Mordekaiser actually loses more matchups now than he lost before the rework, and it's really frustrating. And despite the popular opinion on the fucking Discord, looking at you, Malicious Metal and Drac, I did hit Diamond on my own. There's 4 videos of it on YouTube of me carrying myself to Diamond with no duo. Thank you. So I did hit Diamond myself with no help. No help. All right. But now I'm a gold player, and I think that says something, okay? So I need to put that out there.
Yes,
You
let's
gotta
get
play the game again.
GG easy in the chat, guys.
I do
GG.
need to play the game more often. You're right,
Easy,
Kaizer.
fucking easy, boys.
Okay, so we need to move on a bit. So like macro in general, it's he kind of plays.
I want to add
you
one more
said-
thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like if they want to balance more to have like a stronger early game, then they have to do something like with the passive in W. Like they should just make his passive like gated
And-
by a cooldown or
We
something.
could probably get on that later, I think.
Yeah, and we'll come up to this topic. How can we buff Morde better? Is Raid doing a good job? But for now, just a bit of summary. So like macro, you have to play like bossy, weak side first, like 10 or whatever until the first Drake, and of course first Drake you have to be level 6 and TBN, or you should be the first one there. You have to manage your wave accordingly, and you have to use your ult, and it's better of course if you have the vision. But also you can ult the jungler and allow your team to get free smite. But there is some spicy incoming buffs or maybe indirect buffs to Mordekaiser. So what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, the AD.
They're already
items.
live, I think.
They're already
Yeah,
live.
they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
came out
Wait,
yesterday.
what buffs are we talking about? outside
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
We can
CD?
talk about all of them. We can talk about all of them.
Oh yeah. Okay, they came out yesterday. I'm so sorry.
It's
So
fine.
yes. Explain about Kaizer maybe or Malicious.
Well, your mic
What-
cut
Somebody
out.
who reads patch notes, please.
Wait,
What are
I'll
these
just
buffs?
talk about it.
Basically,
Oh wait, okay. You want to talk?
months ago, like it's very easy. Like they removed 2 seconds cooldown off of E, but like the more significant part is they changed a bit about Riftmaker. Gives 150 more health for a bit lower. What's it called? Spell vamp.
Omnivamp.
Yeah, Omnivamp. You get that with like mythic items now. But like what I think is like more significant is like there were nerfs to like basically his competition, which made him a
Yeah.
bit stronger. He's like on most stats he's like at 51% win rate right now. So it was actually pretty significant.
I agree.
I think the only reason
Yeah.
why his win rate went up is because his bad matchups got nerfed, so they're not as bad anymore.
Yeah. Yep, basically.
I don't think Morde himself like got any stronger, to be
Oh yeah,
honest.
like
we
2
are out.
seconds off of E, like it's nothing. But like sure, it's like helpful in some ways, but yeah, it's like the competition got nerfed, so he's better in the meta right now, I think.
Are you
Yeah.
drunk? That 2 seconds off of E is completely equivalent to Riven losing 2 seconds.
God.
Oh,
Always
no.
after fucking E2. Like they add cooldown, then they remove it. It's rinse and repeat.
See,
Got
the
them
only
right.
like cases where I find it like kind of significant is like in the Jax matchup where 24 seconds actually lines up with like exactly 3 Jax leap strikes before you can E it off. Or well, you can kind of E it off, but you'd still get damage off. But now like he can only really do 2, I think, and
Uh,
also the Darius pull competition.
I mean, I
But
don't think
that's really it. It's not that big.
those champs are
It's,
just gonna. They can just wait 2 more seconds. Like it doesn't really
I
matter.
can just wait 2 more seconds.
Yeah.
Those
Okay,
changes
so
are everything,
yes,
really.
we have. So anything else about the current buffs or changes, or you want to move on to a better topic? Maybe how do you guys think they should be buffing Morde, or items around Morde, or Morde itself, the abilities, the ratios? What do you want to talk about?
Revert Morde.
I think
Moving on, next topic.
I think we all agree. I think we all agree, and this is
Yeah,
really
I
hard.
think
We all have different opinions, but I think we all agree if you switch the W and the passive in some creative way, that would make it feel like Mordekaiser again. And if you take out the stat steal and give him a ghost, give him a reward, a substantial reward for killing them in the Death Realm, I would fucking love Death Realm if I got a ghost afterward. That would be a buff. You know, I get to focus on this guy instead of having to compete for his attention. You know, before 2015 more to 2019, you had to get lucky to get that AD carry. You had to isolate them. You had to isolate them, right? But with new Mordekaisers are, if you got a ghost, you're singling them out, and it's more of a fair fight for them because you're not stealing their stats, so it wouldn't be broken. And if you get the ghost, that's a huge reward. And hey, if the ghost only lasts until their death timer is gone, so be it. I'm willing to take that nerf, the original 45, 60, and 75-second ult durations. But the ability to micro things in League of Legends, I miss it a lot. I think
Okay,
it's an underappreciated skill.
Okay, before we continue, let's just realize Riot is stubborn coming, and they're probably never going to do what you have just said. They're not going
Never's a
to.
long time, and I got a long
They're
time
not
to
going
live.
to revert. They're not going to change W or R or anything. I think he's
Okay.
going to be stuck like this.
Can I make a comment here? Okay, so I think it's unrealistic to ask for a rework, obviously, because
Yes.
it's just not gonna happen. But here's the thing, though, like some of the Morde's designer, like Ride Xenogenic and Endless Pillows, they were like in talks with like Morde mains on our server, and they agree. Like, okay, currently I don't think Morde needs buffs right now. Like statistically, he's good now. I'd say his problem lies mostly in him being kind of bland and boring for a lot of people. So they should like look into changing things to make him more interactive, which like I don't necessarily agree with like swapping W and passive because like it sounds cool, but once you, how would you actually do it? Like the details are weird. But I do agree, like making W have like maybe some synergy with passive and like doing something to make like his W actually have some synergy with his fucking kit. That will make him way more interesting. He should actually just have more avenues of of playmaking to make him more to make it more fun to actually keep spamming him for most people. So yeah, like, and I think like Riot, they actually wanna change parts of him, but it's like more like a passion project. They wanna do it, but, like they're doing it on their free time. So
Okay, so I know we were about building and all this, but we didn't mention two or one of the important things. Someone in the chat was saying, "What about AD Morde? Has anyone tried this, or is he only viable for AB?" Okay, I hear Kaizer laughing. It must be joke. Kaizer?
No, just no.
He's
Nah.
scaling for you to ever play that because
He doesn't have any scaling.
I mean,
exactly. You're
I know it's just troll. Okay.
If you're building AD Mordekaiser, you need some form of utility from the items that you're getting that makes it viable, that combines with his specific skills, and those items just don't exist.
Well, there's Sterex, and that's really just about
what
it.
No,
could you
Rage
build?
played is fine. Rage played is fine, boys. PD Rage played. Anyone? Kraken Slayer maybe?
Yes.
Maybe yeah.
I want to
I
say
think
it.
if you want to build for fun, nothing is off limits.
Blade of the
especially
Rune King
Everfrost.
kind of broken right
but
now.
if you want to build for, I've tried it. It's not that good.
I mean, I don't know if you have fun
I
building.
tried pretty much every build.
Now, did we talk about the Cosmic Drive change?
Those changes just came today on the
I
PBE.
like Cosmic Drive.
It actually just got changed. I don't know if anyone saw it, but like literally
What did they
just a
do
couple
to it?
minutes ago in the PB.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
RaidBoss,
change.
you want to talk about it a
What are the
bit? Or
changes?
you
Yeah,
do not?
so the ability haste is going from 30 to 20, so it's losing some base haste. But they changed the
Don't like
passive
it
to
anymore.
if you have at least 160 AP, you get 20 haste and 10 to 30 movement speed based off level. So you just get flat movement speed
I like
all the
it
time
again.
now. So it
Now-
sounds
That's
okay,
really
but
good.
the help still is kind of garbage.
I
They
would
didn't raise
still
the-
rather go Rylai's, honestly.
Yeah.
I
mean, it
wouldn't
sounds
even
pretty
build
broken.
Cosmic Drive for the HP. I would build it simply because I can move around the map with more ease and get my abilities off cooldown. That's
I
Now,
mean, that's
very
ability
nice.
haste,
attractive to me.
ability haste was a change in season. Does it help more? Does it make him worse? Or is it good to get items
It
that
depends
have
on how you play Mordekaiser. If you can't land your skill shots, then auto attacking is the way to go. That's why some people
Yeah.
build
Oh,
natural
So
speed.
you need
But
ability.
if you want to cast more spells or have your ultimate up every single fight, then you want the cooldown reduction. I'm not going to call it ability haste. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's a stupid name.
So you, King, you would
Oh,
need
Malicious
the
Metal and I disagreed
you
on
would need
something.
the auto
Yeah.
attack speed.
Hell just froze over.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this, Kaiser?
The changes to Cosmic
The
Drive?
ability haste.
Oh,
Like,
ability
is it
haste.
necessary in Mord, or does it not really matter?
I think it's really good. Having your R on a lower cooldown than QSS is really valuable. And, you know, Morde's literally his R. His R is just such a good ability, so it's always better to have a lower cooldown on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
very good. So,
Twitch chat, can you guys hear Kaiser Morde
No.
talks? He's kind of soft spoken. Want to make sure you guys
Put
can
him
hear
on
him.
yeah, I can hear.
He has a lot of
Yeah.
really good things to say. It'd be tragic if you couldn't hear him. Okay, cool. they
Yeah,
can hear
yeah,
you.
I can hear him.
Increase your volume, Kaiser.
Wait, here. Okay, wait, this
Like,
should be better.
enunciate. Use your diaphragm, dude. Talk.
Is this better?
No, dude, it's fucking
No, no,
terrible.
no.
Sounds
He,
way better.
he has been talking like this for 20 years, man. It's impossible.
I know. He's got to change.
No.
Okay, well, I know we brought up the reverted, right? And you want WR. Let's talk about realistic things that could happen.
Oh, I
Okay.
think I have something that's kind of realistic. So I think one thing they can do when I played old Mord, it gave me an idea because old Mord used to give dot for 5 seconds. So I think what they could have done is that they could have combined passive and W and make an ability that lasts like the old dot that lasts 5 seconds, and the damage that you do with the dot gives you shield up to 40% max of your health. And if they want to regen the shield, it's up to them. I don't think they should. But then if you recast it, you could get a good heal out of it and some burst damage. I thought of that in my free time, and then they could just give them a new passive entirely.
That sounds overloaded for one
It
ability.
does sound a little overloaded. Yeah.
And when you say regen the shield, what does that mean?
So
Sorry.
like let's just say you damage the shield, would the W dot regen that shield back?
Ah, okay.
It's up to
Well,
them if they want
remember-
to do it. I say no.
Nobody learned how old Mordekaiser W worked, and that was a pretty overloaded skill as well. I think if they removed the XP passive on it, people would have learned that you could heal people. Like, that's another thing. Mordekaiser's big ass horn, he was literally Soraka. Soraka and Mordekaiser had a big ass horn in the middle of their head. They both paid HP for their spells. Nobody saw that.
Topic.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're getting.
Let's go back to the
Here,
topic.
Okay, let's move on. I wanted to talk about Proplay. I think Mordekaiser and Proplay, of course, recently he's not being picked at all. I mean, unless maybe he is one of the games here and there. Of course, I'm not watching every single game, but mostly the meta is, we're seeing some Nar and other champions like this.
Camille.
Camille, yes.
I'm okay with that.
Oh well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mordekaiser's
But we
not
have
getting
seen,
banned. I'm okay with that.
previous seasons, we have seen even in Worlds, Mordekaiser being picked. So, do you guys think? Of course, right now it's pretty much easy to say. I can say it myself. It's not viable in Proplay, but
Okay.
do you think if he can stay buff, he can be viable, or what?
No, I think he's definitely
I
viable.
don't
in-
think so.
I think he's
He's
viable in
viable.
pro play for sure. Like,
The only guy who was really playing him
Viable
was
if you
Impact.
play like a
really.
bitch and sit under your tower. It's really boring.
I mean, that's the
The
thing.
last time he was played in the LCS, Captain Flowers said verbatim, Mordekaiser is not very impressive. He didn't do anything remarkable this entire game, right? And in the previous time when Mordekaiser was in the LCS, 2015, when 80 carry Mordekaiser was a thing, you had all these 80 carries who were used to playing 80 carries trying out Mordekaiser. They were fucking garbage at him. They built wrong. They played wrong. They didn't utilize his ghost properly. They didn't use his W ever for the ally heal. And no one watching thought, oh, Mordekaiser can do all these cool things. They didn't see it because they idolize the pro players. They think the pro players know everything about the champion. They stretch the champion to its uttermost limits when they really haven't. And it was frustrating because you don't see the pros play Mordekaiser properly at all. And as far as new Mordekaiser goes,
I mean,
viable,
that was with old Morde, like with new.
Yeah,
Morde.
I know, but that's just something I wanted to say before. There's pro players never played Mordekaiser properly. And it's
even
frustrating because they could have showed people, because they had the platform to show people
Actually,
how cool
you're-
Mordekaiser was.
Well, like
Perhaps.
when Rework first came out, sorry to interrupt. You know, he was different. Like the W wasn't as good as it is or was before his recent rework, and his Q did like 900 damage. So he had to be played differently. If you got close like to you, you would die. That's how you played him. It wasn't like a sustained mage or whatever like he was. And then they made that
Well,
change, you know, into a solo lane.
Right, but like, for example, you guys know the Pokemon Center strategy, most of you. You got Krugs, right? And you're sieging bot lane. You're sieging bot lane. There's Krugs right above you, and you tell your teammates not to take it. And every time you siege, someone on your teammate gets chunked because the enemy does damage, right? And then you just heal your ally up with Krugs, and they come back down full heal, saving 30, 40 seconds of time, not having to waste all that time. If LCS had played like that, showing people how to utilize Mordekaiser's ally heal in team fights and for sustained fights, that would have been huge. But nobody played him like that. Nobody utilized his best strengths. They played him for the meme, the 900 Q damage, like Mid-Morde said, and the Dragon Ghost. That was it. That's all people learned about old Morde. So is he viable in pro play? Sure, but are they playing him properly? That's an opinion I'd love to hear from Kaizer Morde. Do you think professionals will play new Mordekaiser properly, Kaizer?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure definitely the pro players are not playing him as good. One trick, but I think you can say this about most champions, almost most champions. But yeah, I mean, Kaizer, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the way pros view Mordekaiser is that he's a champ. You just want to leave alone. He's fine solo, and he's really he's a champ that you pick if you're gonna play weak side bot and strong side, weak side top and strong side bot. And the way these pro players view Morde is literally his R. They only pick him for his R, and just taking out that one target for 7 seconds can be like really, really, really valuable in pro play. And that's why the champ gets picked in the first place. Like that, combined with the fact
And
that
they don't have
he's good weak side, and they actually use his they see Morde's W being a good ability in the sense that it can be used to sustain a lot with the heal, which is why he's considered good weak side. He's like the weak side king. Like it's Morde, and then the thing with Camille is that Camille's a different story. Camille's like good strong side and weak side, but Morde is good weak side. And then like Gangplank, when you look at Gangplank is really, really good weak side too. It's really hard to dive him because of his barrels, and he has really safe laning, and there's nothing much you can do to him. Like he kind of just neutralizes the lane phase, which is why he's.
So why is he not being picked then?
He is. He is
CS.
being picked. He got picked in LPL a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I mean the pros, they do seem to play him properly, but I think last patch the reason why he wasn't picked as much was because like he just wasn't strong at all. He was just really weak last patch because Gore Drinker was an item, and there's just too many abuses for that, and it's like there's just no reason to pick Morde when you can just pick a champion that abuses Gore Drinker.
Yeah.
All right, so playing Mordekaiser properly at a pro level is one thing, but playing against him properly is also the other side of the coin we need to talk about. Let's talk about last season in Worlds. Impact had a really great Mordekaiser game. I forget the name of the enemy team, but they were trash. They played a full clear jungler. They played Evelyn. Evelyn did not touch top lane until level 7. And of course, by then, Mordekaiser had his R, and she ganked, and he got a double kill. All you got to do to shut down a Mordekaiser is focus him before level 6. He's very easy to zone off CS. Like I said before, he has no options. I think that if pro players really thought about Mordekaiser's weaknesses and exposed them to audiences of hundreds of thousands, Riot Games would be forced to address his weaknesses that we are encountering in solo queue. I think that's important.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like he definitely is very easily diveable before 6, but I feel like a big reason why a lot of the time that we don't see that is because when Morde is picked, it's in a decent matchup that's like playable for him, you know, so he can survive those dives. That's why, like, pro players, they only pick Morde in like certain situations. Like obviously, if they picked him, you know, if they were a one trick or something, like there's nothing you're gonna be able to do.
Why do they have to dive Mordekaiser, Kaizer? Why do I have to shove lane against Mordekaiser like a fucking smooth-brained ape? Why can't I freeze the wave and wait for my jungle and kill him, because he has no way to stop me from killing his ass, and he's got his E. That's it. It's not an easy thing to land, especially against professional players. Just don't push the wave. Wait for your jungle before level 6 and shut Mordekaiser the fuck down. It's not hard. Like,
Wait, so what's your
shaking
point?
my head at the. My point is, if they expose Mordekaiser's weaknesses in the lane phase by not shoving the wave and letting him farm safely under tower so that he can get level 6, more people will see how to counter Mordekaiser. We'll have a shittier time. His win rate will fall, and Riot will be forced to address the elephants in the room that they've been ignoring since they reworked him.
I mean, the reason why they shove the wave like that is, you know, setting up a dive.
So they can get lane priority, but they didn't even attempt to dive. They tried to get lane priority so they could help make plays mid lane, and they didn't do anything.
There's multiple reasons, like.
I'm just going off one game.
Okay. I think definitely, you know, interesting. But we do have someone important who just joined the call. Nomez. Nomez, you want to unmute and, you know.
Yo, what's up, man?
Friend,
Sorry I couldn't be here for the whole stream. I had work.
Yeah, how was it working? You had to tell your boss. You had to tell him, like, you know, you're a bastard. You know, you.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, it's like one of those things where I'm required to come in if they call me. So.
No problem. But
I
you are
can't
here
say
now.
no.
You are
I'm
here
here
now.
now.
So you want to give some of your major, like, what are your major opinions on everything? I mean, we can go for everything that has been said.
We don't have to go back. It's a little repetitive. But one thing I'd like to add for the pro play thing, it's like obviously you want to shove in Morde, because I feel like in pro play they want to skirmish a lot around the jungle and scuttle, right? So if Morde is shoved in, he can't participate in that ever.
+1.
Yeah. So pretty much that, right? Like that's the optimal way to play against Morde, or in pro play in general. Freezing is only good in the early game, probably, right? Like as soon as you want to start fighting for scuttles, you're gonna want to break those freezes and just get prio.
Yeah, well, I mean, Scuttle spawns around like level 3, level 4, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. There's multiple
By
scuttles,
then, you've
right?
already shoved the wave, I think, because
Yeah.
like if you're talking about early game, if you want to get a freeze, you have to shove on second or third wave and let the wave bounce back, and then you get a freeze anyway. By that time, you have lane priority and you can go to Scuttle Crab. But I think that a lot of the times you see this happening in NA where like they shove the lane, but they don't know why they're shoving the lane. Like they think it's pressure, but they don't know why it's pressure, and they don't really play around it. I think that's what I've been hearing from a lot of LS. So a lot of these NA teams do that, and then like they just lose all like their win. Like the lane just has like no more winning possibilities unless like they change it up.
Yeah, they get prio for no reason. Like they do nothing with their prio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of interesting plays in LCS and even LCK. But, you know, we're getting better, right? I think new season, we have to give these guys a break. But let's go towards the win rates. What are your guys' thoughts on Mordekaiser's win rate on all regions, all elo? How is it looking for you guys?
It's kind of misleading a little bit because there's still a vast majority of players are going Riftmaker Demonic, and I think that just makes his win rate misleading in general, because I think Riftmaker Nashers is just better, in my opinion. It's just,
Especially
it's
after
just
the
better.
buffs. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Rylai's.
But I have a question, boys. What the fuck is Mordekaiser positive win rate S plus in like Platinum Diamond now? What is happening?
Ever.
Stat sites are really weird right now.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
doesn't really make sense.
Now, King was mentioning earlier that if you maybe if it depends on how you play Morde, right? So if you will miss a lot of skill shots, you maybe want to go more like a Nashers and go speed. But do you guys think it's just no matter what you go Nashers, it's better overall?
No. I think Nashers is like I said this before, even like 1 year ago when I hated Nashers Tooth, I slowly got into the like believing that Nashers might actually be a good item. It's mostly in like I feel like matchups where you need to match the enemy DPS. So oftentimes bruisers that would abuse Blade of the Ruined King, Trinity Force, Witsend, like champions that have a very high DPS where you need to match their DPS because your own passive damage is not enough. In those matchups, I would say that Nashor's Dude is for sure like the play to go. Like for those like 1v1 fights in your ultimate. Because like we all know, like back in the day when we had Irelia building, played of the Rune King and Witsend, you just did absolutely fucking nothing. Thank God the items are a bit worse now, so now he can go Nashers and actually match into them.
Well, also Oblivion Orb Rush is like way better now. Like it used to be that back then you could in some of these matchups you'd have to go like Bramble Vest Rush, and like to be honest, I'd rather Oblivion Orb because I think Oblivion Orb giving more damage allows you to like kill the target quicker before they can get like use those 6 stacks of Conquer and that shit.
I mean, it really
I
depends.
agree. Oblivion Orb's been really strong against Darius. If you rush that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's
Really
champions
good.
you just cannot even build Bramble Vest against, like Aatrox, because they would just not attack you.
Yeah,
I feel like
Aatrox, Vladimir,
matchups,
but I wouldn't
ma-
build into Vladimir yet.
like matchups where you're allowed to build like Tab Ice and Bramble is just broken. Playing against 2 AD like top jungle comp and you build those items, like enemies are just gonna fucking cry. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anubis, how?
Yes.
Your mic cut off.
Yes.
Mike,
I,
what was that question?
How is Mordekaiser in? Okay. How is Mordekaiser in the Latin American server? Is he picked a lot? Do you get banned out sometimes?
I
Or
think I only in Master Plus. I think I am the only person who pick it. So they ban Mordekaiser because of me most of the time.
yes, so
That's
they're
Yes,
stream
man.
sniping you.
yeah, and I can play it. And when I play it, they counter me with a Fiora or Darius, so I can't do anything. And
So what do you ban? Do you ban Fiora or
Fiora is not that popular today. I ban Darius. Aatrox is nerfed. Darius is more popular than other champions. So
Okay.
I ban Darius right now.
Okay. Now,
Why do you ban Darius? Well, hold up. Sorry, I gotta know. Describe for me at your level of play, the lane phase against the Darius. What is Darius doing to you that makes it so difficult to beat him?
He frees the lane, and I can't do anything.
Oh yeah,
I-
there's nothing you can do when he freezes.
Walk
I
off
do-
the
You need to
long
coordinate
lane.
your jungler.
Yeah.
talked
No,
about
that's not a jungler. Have to play around the strong side. If the jungler come to top to help me, he lose time. If they give a kill to me, I can do anything. Incluso, actually, with a kill, I can do anything. Nothing. He can help me because he is not worth it.
Yeah, the jungler will lose a lot of times in top lane because of course, like we have stated multiple times, it's weak side. Weak side kingdom. So thank you very much, Anubis. What about Malicious Metal? What are your thoughts on the win rate or play rate, or how is it in solo queue?
Well, I started the season with a terrible fucking win rate of 42%. Now I'm back at 50%. I honestly think like in like the elo I'm currently in, like with just high plat, he's actually pretty good. Like, and you see like if Kaizer can just breeze through these elos, if it means that like one tricks can still like really climb with him. So I don't really think he's bad. I think it mostly really comes down to your lane opponents, and his entire competition being nerfed really helps right now. I also think like it's a bit early to say because like the patch just landed, so like we'll see where he'll land like in a couple of weeks.
I mean, a
Okay.
lot of
So
what
any
I'm
final thoughts before we move on to the last topic?
yeah, I
Mhm.
just want to say one thing. Like, I'm noticing that a lot of our complaints, or I mean, a lot of our what we're saying is that like we think Morde's in an okay spot right now. I mean, right now he's actually pretty good, I would say.
He's in a
But
good
Yes.
spot, I think.
but it doesn't feel good to play in a like how do I say it? Like
I
like
think
you have to play
I
like a bitch. You have
think
to
I know
play
who you're
like a
after.
little bitch, you know?
Yeah.
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 It's not
No,
fun
I
to
agree.
like
I
sit
think
back
he,
and not do nothing.
I think
Take
he has
Ignite
like a
in lane,
massive
you can play
issue.
less like a bitch.
Yeah, I think he has like a massive issue when it comes to agency, and I feel like that's a big thing in top lane in general. Even though you're like fine playing a weak side, I think more just like a semi-safe pick to like pick whenever. Like you can just chill in lane, like it's fine. But even if you'd go even if you'd win your lane, if your bottom lane's like hard in because they're I don't bot laners.
Yeah.
It's like there's not a lot you can really do. Like compared to other champions in top lane, like let's say Wukong right now, even Garen would be like a lot stronger. Camille, if they get ahead, they can really push the lead forward. But Mordekaiser's kit just kind of doesn't allow that. And I think that's
True.
probably his biggest issues that he has right now. If you win, it doesn't really matter if your bottom loses. If you lose, well, now you probably have a winning bottom. So good luck on that.
So are you guys saying that compared to the rest of the top laners, he is like you're saying every other top laner can play like very aggressive, play to win the
I feel like
lane?
they have a lot better means to actually go through and carry games compared to Mordekaisers. I mean, like Wukong, Camille, they're all very mobile. They can engage fights on their own terms, and they can really like one shot and do a lot. Meanwhile, Mordekaisers feels like he's very limited on getting a flash E ultimate on a high prio carry, and now you're really dependent on flash if you ever want to make any play on
I
Mordekaiser.
mean, they're just like different types of champs, you know? Like Morde isn't
Yeah,
meant to be like that. And
yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, like
the
I
main
understand it, but I
problem,
feel like
yeah,
it's just an issue he has.
the main problem I have is just like I want to be able to play the game level 1 and 2. Like it just sucks. I just have
Yeah,
to
it's
sit
not
back.
really interactive.
I just want to add something. I feel like Mord is like the meme, the AP Darius, right? But he doesn't have like the damage or just tankiness to actually be relevant in the early levels. So he has like the kit of Darius, but he doesn't have the tools that
Watered
Darius
down,
has, right?
neutered.
And like obviously you could power creep his damage to like release where he was just like beating you level 3 once he hit passive, but I think the best thing they could do for Mord's early is just increase his tankiness and maybe finally come out with those W changes, but I would say just increasing his like base armor and base health would probably be the best way to buff Mord's early game.
Yeah,
Okay,
his
very
base
interesting.
health is actually kind of low
Because you
compared
just
to other
lose like
champs.
these short trades super hard, right? Like
Yeah.
versus things like Fiora, Aatrox, and even Darius too.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are so used to old mode where you were able to play aggressive in the first level because you had W.
Yeah, like Oldmore had
Yep.
a way stronger early game. Like I
Yeah.
think like they're kind of inverse in how they scale. Like Newmore, like he has more like a linear curve where he actually gets stronger the longer the game progresses. He falls off like 40 plus minutes anyway, but that's just bruises in general. Meanwhile, like Oldmore, like you had a lot of kill pressure early, and you had like a very strong early lane. That's also like where I think a lot of frustration comes from old mains. I know I'm there because like it was really cool actually getting into lane and being able to actually play the lane like really ballsy, and it actually paying off. Right now you
off.
kind of sit back and well, so yeah, like it's just having a bit more agency and actually stuff to do early game would go a long way in actually making it more satisfying. But you know,
Okay, well, let's move on to the last topic, guys. Should be a quick one. Any bugs, are the bugs that are there? Are they very influential?
I've been poached a lot.
Fucking
Oh,
hell.
I saw the Yone bug happen on Anubis' stream
Oh
today.
no! Please.
I hate the
don't.
Yone bug.
They
Fucking
even said
Yone
they
bug.
fixed it. They didn't. They didn't fix it. They tried. He still breaks out of your ult, and I went and tested it, how to figure it out. When Yone's in the ult, he just needs to hit QWE, and it breaks him out. I don't know why, but that's how you break out. You just QWE. Even if it's on cooldown, it breaks you out of the ult, and it's the most frustrating thing ever.
I mean, Riot's
One
stance on more
question.
bugs is just like, it's just so pathetic, right? It's
No,
like they
dude,
just won't
it's
fix
better
it.
than
They
yours.
literally
It's way
admitted to
better
like
than
they're
yours.
not gonna spend the resources to fix
Dude.
it because it's not a big deal in their opinion.
you
Like
guys,
with the Zed and Akali one specifically, like, and I guess that applies to Yone too.
the most annoying bug is
When-
the one where Ivern, he's literally, I death realm someone, and then he's literally jerking their teammate off through the realms and just putting bushes down everywhere. It's like, dude,
Oh no.
Is that? I don't know if that's a. I guess that is a bug. I didn't even.
It is a
I've
bug.
never actually seen that.
Because I don't think it happens with Talia ult and other terrain changing
wait.
abilities. No, you could go.
Bus, you want to continue this?
It's a bug with Sion. When Sion ultimate, he
no.
has 3 seconds of.
And like
What-
you can't
what-
listen
yes.
unstoppable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on top
Immune,
of 4
yeah.
seconds. It's
Unstoppable,
super-
yes.
And then there's another Sion bug if you ult him while he's charging Qs
Oh, that one's
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's
Yeah,
so
he just
stupid.
does nothing.
No,
It's
wait, but
literally
the
not
other
an
one is when
ability.
you do it,
then
sometimes
it
it goes on
cancels.
cooldown.
Yeah,
it'll
and
just
it's
go.
sometimes
It'll go on cooldown, and just for no reason. He's not
Yeah,
unstoppable
dude,
during.
it's
Yeah, your
so
ult fizzles all the time.
it's so frustrating.
Same thing happens with Malphite ult, Nocturne ult, any champion that.
Well, those ones it's
doesn't
because they're
put untargetable
unstoppable.
Yeah,
ult.
that's fine.
Sion isn't during.
Yeah,
a
but
Q.
should your ult still cast then, or should it just not be
no,
castable?
those are there's a lot of interactions actually how you can cancel.
I mean, dude,
Mordekaiser's
one thing I'm
ultimate.
confused.
I feel like people don't know.
One thing
But
I'm
yeah, you
confused
can
about is
say
that
it.
like,
I have a question actually.
Yes, King?
Oh, okay, sorry. Silas, this happened 2 days ago. I wish I had streamed it because it was hilarious. Silas stole my ult, ulted my Annie, and was killing her. And I ulted someone else, and
yeah,
look,
this-
there was
yeah,
Silas and
exactly.
Annie, and I was able to save him. Is that intentional,
Yep.
or
That's
is it?
intentional, but it's a little
Okay,
bit visually misleading. Oh wait,
There's
we got
only one
another.
death realm. Remember that.
Oh, what's this?
Well, it's like it's just another game layer. So like the regular layer is here, right? And when you ult someone, you just move up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, like someone other people can go there. Silas, 2 more, and you can all meet and just go into the next level. You know.
It seems like this is a problem when Riot tries to do this crazy stuff with the ultimates. Like, there's too many
Because
bugs.
they got chimpanzees to code the game.
Yeah, it's spaghetti.
There's another
Brilliant.
bug because I main mid with Morde. I'm not mid Mordekaiser, but I do main mid with
Hey, you
Morde.
can be the new mid Mordekaiser. I don't play Morde anymore.
Yeah, I took it over for you, but I go into the Echo matchup a lot, and I don't know if you guys ever played it, but you
no, I
actually,
haven't.
it's almost an unwinnable matchup if he has ult, because Echo throws W out. So the smart thing to do as Morde is you ult him so he can't get the shield, right? Well, you ult him, you're fighting, and then he hits R, it'll activate his W, even though it's not in the Death Realm. You'll get stunned, he'll get a shield, and he wins every single time. And it's another bug that they won't fix because I don't think they ever really care about his bugs right now. But
I mean,
it's just another
it
one.
is it's way better than Yorick. He has so many game-breaking bugs. Like there's a
Or it
whole.
just has that like Viego Silas issue, right? Where every new champion is going to introduce these bugs, but I don't think he's just never going to get that attention that those other champs get. And I think it's
No.
also because Death Realm is just like such a highly complex ability for leagues like trash tier engine basically at this point.
There's a reason why it was
Like-
icebox in the
It's
Fiora
too much
rework.
sauce versus
Yeah.
spaghetti. Too much. Kaizer, what I wanted to ask you specifically this as well. If you guys are spamming solo queue 3 times a day, like on average, would you say it happens? Like these bugs occur? Are they frequent or?
yeah, I would say they're pretty frequent. Like,
I mean,
it would happen like once
More
every
or
10
less
games.
frequent than old Morde?
Oh, more for sure. Like,
yeah, old
it's-
Morde didn't give a shit about bugs, honestly.
Old
'cause you
Morde's
were so
bugs
strong.
weren't
Yep.
like
Old,
they,
I mean,
old
a lot
Morde
of
were not
bad.
very.
yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
that
they were
bad.
influential. They didn't matter. Like
There's also
Yeah.
a few there's also a few bugs that weren't mentioned yet that I feel like are an issue.
Also,
Let's
wait,
talk about Akali.
I want to talk about one
Really
thing
push.
though before we.
And
Wait,
then
Yeah, Kaiser, go.
yeah,
yeah,
you
wait.
go.
When you, like, don't you know when Yone ults? When Yone ults, like, isn't he supposed to be unstoppable? Does
Yes.
anyone know?
I think
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but the thing is, when Morde ults Yone, like, while Yone ults, like, you still take him to the death realm. I found that as an interaction. I don't know if that's intended,
Yeah.
but I think that's also a bug that's actually good for Morde. So, I mean, I don't even know at this point, man. Like,
Actually,
Yeah.
no, I don't think he's unstoppable. He's locked out. I think it works like the same way how Ezreal Ultimate would work. Like even if you do CC to him, it will still cast the ability. But it's not an unstoppable thing.
Okay. So Nikki, you wanted to talk about Akali. Are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Shroud?
Yeah. So there's the shroud bug that still happens as far as I know. Someone can probably confirm this one.
I can
Um,
probably confirm it, even though I've been banning the champion lately.
yeah. And
I
then
let the champion go through once, and then it happens.
one other thing that I really don't understand how that can even exist in the game is you like if you do your combo quote unquote incorrectly where you proc your passive with your Q or E, you would not get Conqueror stacks from your passive.
Wait, it doesn't?
No,
Yeah,
so
I think that's still a thing.
if you do EQ and then auto attack, you end up on 8 Conqueror stacks because of your E gives 2, Q gives 2, auto
And your
attack gives
auto.
2, and then passive gives 2.
Yeah.
But if you do E and then auto attack and you proc your passive with your Q, you would now only end up on 6, and your passive would not give you those stacks. It's like on one.
What?
It's like on one auto attack
mhm.
bug. But I feel
Difference.
like it's something that happens very very frequently.
And no one
Not a
talks
lot of
about it.
people necessarily understand how much that can actually matter sometimes.
Oh
So
no,
you
and
need to be
especially
really cautious on when you proc your passive with your auto attack or Q. So sometimes it really is the play to not cast your Q and just go for the auto attack and then Q. But that's like a big bug. Matters more or less. But I feel like that for sure should be fixed.
that not only that, it's also worse when they did those conquer nerfs that you need another auto to proc it on Morde.
God. And
Yeah.
he already procs it slow.
Yeah, and then he procs it slower, and then there's that bug. It's so
Yeah.
cancer.
No, I was wondering. So you guys have given examples of when someone is unstoppable, like Malphite or Scion Ult. Do you think he should be able to even R, or do you think and this is maybe more of a general question because there are a lot of abilities that are like this, like you use it and it goes on cooldown and doesn't do anything. So do you think it should be like that, or it should not go on cooldown, or what?
I don't think it goes on full cooldown if somebody dodges it with like a Malphite ultimate or.
No, it does go on full cooldown.
Is it cooldown?
Yep.
Oh.
I think it
Yeah.
should be on reduced
Well, I
cooldown.
mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's a fair thing to consider that now there's some sort of counterplay. Sure, it feels like cancer to play Mordekaiser when it happens. But in return that they allow that counterplay, then maybe
Yeah.
do something to QSS or give some strength elsewhere. But there
Yeah,
really is like I feel like every other champion can dodge Mordekaiser ultimate. People just are not aware of these interactions.
Yeah, I have
yeah,
something to add about the unstoppable.
yeah. It was
I would I don't know why, but a lot of new champs and reworks are getting unstoppable in their kits and random parts, and it's I feel like yeah, there's some skill to it if you're the player with the unstoppable and you're timing it to cancel mortal. That's good, but I'm not kidding. Most of the time, people are using their abilities with unstoppable without even trying to, and it cancels your ult. Have you
Yeah,
guys ever tried to
I
fight a
agree.
Warwick and he just presses Q, not meaning to, and he cancels your ult? It's frustrating because he's unstoppable during Q, he's
Did
unstoppable during
um,
ult. I feel like maybe unstoppable shouldn't cancel your ult, but you should still be able to QSS it. So then you can't just accidentally, oh, Morde's ult's gone. I didn't mean to, but there you go. It's on full cooldown. It's a little frustrating.
Actually, it's unable to be displaced on the queue, not unstoppable. But yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, okay. Similar thing. It's same effect on
Yeah.
Morde's ult. It just cancels it.
okay. Well, any last thought?
Can we talk to each other?
Yeah,
Sure. Let's do it.
Honestly, yeah.
Go
Okay, so
ahead.
I
Do
wanna
it. Let's go.
drop a few words. Yeah. So like I haven't played that much more lately, but because of this whole podcast being a thing, I started to play him again, and I think it's just like absolutely amazing that we get like all the people who are here now today to actually join this podcast. Like I'm very happy that I can actually finally talk to like Morde and then TheKingofEloHell and like voice call. Sure you have webcams, I don't, kind of shit, but it's just really cool to see like the community actually gather like around like this. Like it's just like amazing. Like I've watched both of your guys' videos before. I love the shit that you do, honestly. I just feel like things could be better, I guess, on the whole Morde thing, but like the whole thing is just amazing. Like everybody's here, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I really love this shit. So yeah,
I
thanks for
think
everyone for joining the whole
we
call.
have officially squashed the beef, guys. Officially. King, you have anything to say? I know you were talking to Mid earlier, so.
Mid Mordekaiser, I honestly, truly think it's long overdue that you were like a part of the Mordekaiser community. I know that you just did your own thing on YouTube and Twitch, but as far as I know, you never really interacted with the rest of us. And I really wanted you to do that because I feel like you could have done so much more than you have already come. You did the most. As far as content creation goes, you are the most successful Mordekaiser OTP in the world. And that's an accomplishment. I would have loved to have seen you more involved in the community in general. Like, people had to come find you. You didn't go out of your way to find the community, as far as I know. And I think that there's still mad potential for you in the content creation sphere. You're a great content creator. You shouldn't hang up your hat. I know a lot of your fans want to see you come back, and I know that New Mordekaiser is not fun for you, and know that you not playing it is your personal principle. I fucking hate New Mordekaiser too. I'm right there with you. But if I lose games, I'm tanking his win rate. If I win games, I'm going up in ELO. So it's a win-win either way for me. I don't care. ELO means almost nothing to me. It only became slightly personal to me when I saw people shit-talking me in the Discord that, hey, I'm banned from. What's up with that? So yeah, there is some beef to squash as far as the Mordekaiser main community goes. I actually wrote something for this, if you guys don't mind. So
go ahead, man.
Let's see. Yeah, this one goes out to my main man, Malicious Metal, and his pet Gnome. So and I'll be damned if I admit defeat to a pompous yes man who sips his tea with a gnome that scurries about his feet, pretending like they lead the elite. Because the has-beens still are, and I won't stop picking at that scar. But while I've got the mic, let's focus on the wrong and the right. How are you going to exclude the TheKingofEloHell out of the fight? That's all I've written so far. But
bravo, man, bravo.
Beautiful.
So
Mordekaiser,
I've said this from the beginning, and you know we all talk shit about each other behind each other's back. Like before Mid Morde was even a part of this, I was shit talking him because I was like, you know what, it's not that big a deal that he's not involved because he's quit Mordekaiser and he never involved himself in the Mordekaiser community in the first place because I hated that about you. But here you are, you proved me wrong, and that means a lot to me. And I love seeing you, and I hope to see you a part of future meetings. It really means a lot to me. I'm really glad you're here. And as far as Malicious Metal goes, I think you're a yes man. I'm sorry about that. I think that you're wrong about Mordekaiser, and I'm sorry about that too. But I don't hate you. Like, I just think it's bullshit that you create this false echo chamber where only opinions that agree with you are allowed to be heard. There are two Mordekaiser main, there are two Mordekaiser main Discords, and I chose yours because the other one was full of racism and Nazi jokes, which I don't vibe with at all.
No, they fixed it. They fixed it.
Yeah, I know they fixed it, but it's too little too late. They've pretty much moved on. They just talk about Mordekaiser nostalgically. They don't do shit. They don't make content. They don't make guides. They don't complain about it in a public sphere. They just talk about it in their own little groups. All right, it's bullshit. As Mordekaiser mains, we should be able to talk about old Mordekaiser and new. And yes, if I see high quality old Mordekaiser main content being downvoted because it's too nostalgic, and I see low quality, like people are posting a normal game of Mordekaiser saying it's the best rework ever. That's a bullshit post. It's propaganda, and I don't know why the community is upvoting it. That's bullshit. Right?
Hold up.
This is the last thing.
I don't mean to cut you off. I have to go in like 5 minutes. So, because I have to go to my next shift at work. But Like,
All right.
after the rework, the Morde community has basically shifted to 90% new Morde players. Like, the subreddit is the best indicator of that. Like, 10,000 new members after the rework, which are probably all new Morde mains, right? So, like, that's why that's happening. It's like, this is the new Morde. This is what people are playing when they think Morde mains, right? Like, nobody...
That's only because they don't know any better. Like I know nobody liked me using this example before, but it's just mentally challenged children playing in the mud. Okay, I'm sorry. Nobody likes it when you say it, but that's what it is.
He's very passionate. I like Sebastian, and I love preaching love. He has some strong abilities, but it's all love. He's squashing the beef with Mordekaiser, and he's all love with Malicious. Malicious, what do you have to say? You have anything to say to what he said?
Well, like, here's the thing. This is the Morde that's currently here, and he's gonna be here until League dies.
You're wrong.
That's just how it is.
No, okay, but I mean,
But yeah, like, okay, here's the thing. Like, Riot, they're a company. They wanna make money. They want they like to release a fucking, what's it called? A little blog about that they want like engagement above all else with their champions. So they want champions to be played, right? That's why they want to revisit Morde, because he's just a bit too bland to really capture people's interest. So yeah, like, they want to change him, but we're not going to return to old Morde. It's just how it is, sadly.
No, I agree with that. The revert is never going to happen. I only ask for a revert because my mentality is if you ask for more than you expect, maybe they'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
But if you ask for exactly what you expect, maybe you'll never
on
get
the
it.
opposite end of that, don't you think that makes you come off as like unreasonable and like you can't be bargained with? You know what I mean? Like, if that's your bottom line, right?
I'm trying to haggle.
Yeah, but they're not even like
You're not wrong.
talking to you, so there's nothing to haggle with.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
going on to the past.
I think you would benefit from like lowering your stakes here. You know what I mean? Like, you want W changes. Like, that's something they're actually looking into, right? Like, if you went that angle, you'd probably be more successful in pursuing some changes for Morde at least.
Yeah, before let's let Mordekaiser. He hasn't gotten to speak about this, so you want to defend yourself. Maybe you had a bit of some shades thrown at you a bit, but you defend yourself. Go ahead.
Dude, all I gotta say is, like, I'm just an asshole at heart. It's just who I am. That's who I've always been. That's why I played Morde. I wanted to play a dog shit champion, so if I lost, my ego wouldn't go down. I could just say, "Oh, it's the champion," and if you lose, I could shit talk you because you lost. So I just kind of came up with that, and I didn't want to like associate with any other Morde mains because I didn't want anyone else's opinion to like influence me, and I didn't want to influence their opinions or anything like that. And when it comes to content creation, I just got lucky. That's all it was. I was the only one who was really doing it besides Tasty, but Tasty was just doing like montages, not like league content.
I was doing it up until I got content banned on Reddit. So I was actually popping in 2016. But they hate me. I've raised money for their Extra Life charity 2 years in a row. No reason given for the content ban. So my content went from this to bottleneck. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous.
It's just who I am, I was the guy who would spam Mastery 7 every 5 seconds just to piss you off, just so I could try to tilt you so I could win, It's not a big Mordekaiser video if I'm not flashing Mastery 7 while bonking you,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of inherit to that behavior from you.
But,
I do it too.
But yeah, I just thought I'd show up to this podcast just to kind of give my own 2 cents on the matter, because I know some people want to know it, but I don't like new Morde. I'm not gonna like new Morde, and that's that. Any beef I had before, I apologize. I just, I'm matured over the years.
All guys, all love here. We're all. And I want to give just quickly before we go to the outros. You guys can all plug your streams and everything. Anubis, thank you very much for coming. You have so much courage, for coming here, and you gave some very good takes. So everyone clap. Harden the chat for. Harden the chat for. Anubis. Thank you very much.
How do you clap in the chat? Just type in the word clap, I guess.
What is the emote? It is clap. Okay.
Yeah, clap.
I'm here. Okay. So let's start with Mordekaiser. What is your, you have Twitter, Twitch, are you streaming?
No, I stream, but I don't really stream League. I kind of just do my own thing. It's Andy2, TWO, and that's it. Like, you don't have to follow or anything. I don't really play League or stream League anymore, so.
Well, hey, some people maybe want like your personality. I mean, you're a handsome guy. Come on, you maybe.
You are
I love
devilishly
your-
handsome.
Yeah, I like the beard. I like everything.
He's a snack. He's
Okay,
actually a snack.
King, I know your stream, but you also have Twitter, and you want to plug it?
Uh, I'm just trying to grow my platform because I figured the logic is if people like some people can just censor me so that I don't have a voice in the community, cough cough subreddit, cough cough Discord. How can I fight that as a content creator? Because I make pretty decent content. You guys have to admit the diss track was lit. It was cringe, but you're amazed and appreciative that it
No,
exists.
it was
I know
definitely high effort, man. I'll give you that. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I have made diss tracks as well, and
I like
It's-
So but despite having such a successful video, I've only got like 1,400 subs on YouTube. I don't make content consistently. I don't make quality content consistently like people like Midmord, okay? Because I got a real life. I had some shit happen that really curbed my growth. And so my logic is if I can grow on these platforms, then I can't be silenced and I can have a bigger voice. So right now I'm just trying to work with bigger YouTubers. So that's
Nice.
my goal for now. If you want to keep up with my journey, go for it. I'm working with the almighty and Austin Alexander right now. So
someone in the
That's what I'm
chat
trying
is
to
asking, what is your Twitch?
you know my Twitch, come on.
Well, you have to say it. I'm not going to block you.
The king of EloHell. Make sure you remember the D. There's some fuck who's got king of EloHell. He's stolen like 50 of my followers. So
Wow.
the king of EloHell.
Okay, guys.
That's
you see
it. You don't have to follow me. I barely stream anymore. I'm more concerned with YouTube subscribes and Twitter followers because those are the loyal guys.
Yeah, we'll save Kaizer for last since this
Yeah,
together.
everyone make sure you support KaiserMorde stream. He's the one who made this possible. He's actually trying to do things with the community. He's bringing us together, people of different opposite opinions. That's a big deal. Please support him.
Yes. We can give him a big shout out at the end. Malicious, you're streaming or what are you up to, man?
Yeah, I stream occasionally, but I mostly just post shitty Morde memes on Twitter.
Okay.
They're pretty good
What's
though.
your Twitter at?
They are good.
Okay, should I just put in like the stream? Thing in the chat?
You can do that. Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
well, follow me if you want trash, more content,
I can't. You blocked me.
occasional fan art. I haven't gone more out.
You can say it as well. You should say it so the people on YouTube can see.
Oh yeah, true. Because they don't have Twitch chat.
Yeah, malicious.
Yeah, it's just that
I mean, I think it's
smell.
gonna go in the description comment box and like description box anyways on YouTube, like everyone.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I'll make sure to add that to everyone's. So everyone just DM me your plugs and or just leave it in the Discord and I'll
Yeah. But let's
add
finish
it to
it
the
off.
video.
Nikki, what are you up to lately? Besides
Right.
Eren?
Okay, so right, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I used to stream a lot more Mordekaiser gameplay. Kind of been chilling from that and just streaming in channel, which is a bit unlucky. Just moved to a new apartment because of university. Actually have a banger internet connection this time. I can probably start streaming soon when things actually settle down. So you can probably expect me to be streaming. Probably just picking Mordekaiser mostly in beneficial matchups, but I might be going for a bit of a try hard. Currently like D2 like 50 LP, so doing pretty fair. Aiming for
Good go.
master tier this season.
What's your major in college?
I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Oh,
So that's
That's
that.
actually sick.
this is difficult. Difficult engineering.
Yeah. I mean, so far all my grades are like 3 or above, mostly 3s and 5s. So like 5 is being the max grade. So it's going pretty well. But yeah, my Twitch is NikkiTT _. I can just send it on the stream as well. But you can probably
Yeah.
find me there. And there's a link to my Discord if anyone actually cares. It's like randomly used, pretty casual. But you can feel free to hit me up anywhere or come on my stream.
Yeah, awesome. Hopefully you can continue streaming.
Yo, e-girls DM him.
Yeah. You girls.
Oh yeah, my DMs are open.
You said it's like a Discord mod. Let's calm down.
Nomez, besides, well, actually, Shadow overtook you as Kaizer's slave. But what
That's
are you up
true.
to recently?
What's that?
What are you up to besides, being?
I'm mostly a full-time wagey these days as a caretaker, so not much time for content creation.
Pog.
Yeah,
Did you
but
steal
I do stream occasionally. Twitch TV/Nomez. Big thanks to Patrick Lovesman and Alcazir Harmani for supporting me every day.
Gonna shout him out.
Yeah.
Who is Al
So
Ghazir?
follow me on Twitch. I'll be. He's also known as Alk. That's his nickname.
Okay.
But yeah, I have to go to work now. But you guys have a wonderful day. Sorry I couldn't be here for the whole
Have a
thing.
nice day, Nomez.
And make
Hearts
sure
for
you
Nomez.
make
Hearts
sure
for
you
Okay.
plug
Nomez.
your stream.
Love for
Oh,
Nomez. Raid Boss, what are you up to
Yeah.
recently?
Not streaming currently, but I keep trying to get back into it. But it's been really hard because of work, and with this whole virus thing going on, no one's
Yes.
making it to work anymore. So it's like the people who are going to work have to be at work for like double the time normally. So I'm trying to
Wow.
find time for streaming, and hopefully soon, I think. But
Invest in Dogecoin, you won't have to work anymore.
I'm not going to that trap yet. Okay. But
No,
if you
no,
guys want to follow me,
Yeah.
it's my name here, Twitch, RaidBossMorde. Same for the Twitter. Same thing.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Really good takes, really amazing. Hopefully it becomes easier for you. Hopefully pandemic can slow down. Sadly, Americans are being a bit, don't know,
brain
nice.
damage.
It's true.
Whoa, what was that?
I mean, hey,
You're
you
not
want me
wrong.
to show
100% right.
on my phone? Okay, let's move on to Shadow. Shadow, what are you up to? You have actually just become KaiserMorde's slave.
Yeah.
So what else are you up?
Whenever I can, I do thumbnails and occasionally edit VODs for KaiserMorde. Lately, I haven't been really doing anything because I freshly graduated out of college because it was only a 2-year program. But if you want my Twitter is this, and it's the same across Twitch and everywhere else.
Okay, congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, and also special shout out again to Paterix and Alka because they're both red pilled, and they asked for a shout out, so got them.
Wow, amazing. Now, last, or actually not last, sorry. Anubis. Anubis, what is your Twitch?
It's like my name. I'm gonna pass it if I can.
Yes.
Yes, I stream every day.
Okay, guys. So
Every
this
time
is-
internet it's good.
So
yeah. Hi, Elo in Latin America, guys. You want to learn how to watch him? And of course, you can also watch KaiserMorde, who is the one who brought it together. Big shout out to him, of course. He got everyone. He wanted to continue this. Of course, this is second episode or installation, whatever you want to call it. But he has been really on the grind recently. And like I said, 2021's hottest upcoming streamer. So, Kaiser, I mean, everyone knows your stream, of course. But you have Twitter
You get a
and
webcam
YouTube, right?
eventually.
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you say?
So you're going to your Twitter and YouTube,
Yeah, make
this
sure-
is where you blog it.
Make sure to, hit me up on Twitter. Sub to my
Link your
YouTube.
Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, link your
Yeah, the
Twitch.
one we're on right now.
Link your Twitch, please. Yeah, it's a good idea. For his YouTubers, it's KaiserMorde lol. So KaiserMorde lol. I mean, it should be in his YouTube description as well. But yeah, guys.
I just
For
wanna-
me, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I really appreciate everyone coming out here and discussing this. I usually find this really fun, and I'm pretty sure the whole community does too. So yeah.
yeah, this shit was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it's real dope.
Shit was also funny too.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate being a part of it. Thanks for tolerating my extreme opinions as well.
Hey, we were expecting session. We got it. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, that's what
It's
makes
for
it
the
good.
content,
The
man.
content,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's enjoyable for sure.
That's what makes a good discussion. There has to be
Yeah,
different
we need
sides
both
to it.
sides.
Malicious,
I have like one question though.
Malicious Metal, what are you doing? We haven't asked you. Go ahead, Nikki.
Right, yeah. So my only question is here. Assuming there's gonna be more of this or similar content, I'm just curious. Like, I'm probably asking this for Kaiser at this point, but would you be like up to doing this again? Like this is probably mostly for you, mid more than King of EloHell. Like if you
Oh
have
yeah,
like chances to do
definitely.
like similar content like this, so
Yeah, I actually reached out to Riot August yesterday and let him know this was happening, and I'm gonna link him the VOD when it's done. I'm gonna try to get Riot devs involved in his future podcast, if that's okay with you, Kaiser.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I mean,
fine.
that
Yeah,
would be
like,
great if that was
all
possible.
it takes is you being a constant force in their DMs. So like, so hold up, hear me out, because it did not work out for me. But like, when you finish streaming, Kaiser, you got like 30 people watching you, 50 people, however. Same thing for you, Anubis, right? When you finish streaming, look for a Riot employee that works on champion design and champion reworks and all that shit. Look for one that's streaming. Riot Afik, his name is actually Afik on Twitch.tv. Then you got Riot August. Right, these two are really important in the champion stuff. Okay, if you host them and you're like a regular, right, they're gonna recognize you. Right, you're gonna become a friendly person to them. And if you start inviting them to something that you're doing, they're gonna be a lot more positively disposed to helping you out rather than just being the autist that says, include me in the rework in Twitter DMs. Like, so you got to learn from your mistakes like I did. So Malicious Metal did that right. He was a really good friend to rioters on the boards, and they knew who he was. So he didn't have to have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel to
Yeah,
get their
Malicious,
attention.
give more tips for Kaiser or anything to add on?
Malicious, how does Kaiser get Riot devs to pay attention to him?
Well, they're already kind of paying attention to our community anyway. So, but
Just
still,
talk
like,
about lore on the forums for
yeah,
5e.
just spam it. But rip boards, no spam like Reddit threads and get content banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just, shout out to Riot August, I love you, Riot August. You're best
know.
developer, whatever you do at Riot, you're doing very good job. Okay.
Technically, I know like Endless Pillows. He sometimes like streams himself. Like, if like the more changes are ever coming, like he'd probably be the guy to actually talk about those. So we'll see what the future may hold.
If you
Okay,
start
guys.
tactics, Dick, then he's gonna provide. So you can do that. The viable tactic.
Yeah, this is viable.
Yeah, it's really viable.
King, you wanted to say something?
No, I got 4 minutes before I have to teach a kid how to speak English. So,
Poggers?
yeah, I teach English on the side. That's something I do for supplementary income since I'm the manager of an after-school program, and we've been out of session since March of 2020. So, I've been making money with Dogecoin and after Zoom teaching, teleworking. So, I have a class in 4 more minutes. So I pretty much gotta go.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to put you on the spot here. When will I be unbanned from the Mordekaiser Discord and the Mordekaiser subreddit?
put him on probation.
Wait, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you asking?
Most,
I
think.
The only one who has a say in it.
Well, Nomez also has a say in it, and he's my pet gnome. We'll see.
Fair.
Fair. It's
Right.
good.
We'll see is good enough for
you
me.
optimistic.
I don't expect a yes, but we'll see is better than a no and never. So that's fine with me. That's absolutely fine with me. All right, thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to be a part of this. I really got to go. Mahmoud, you did an excellent job. Thank you for steering the boat. I know I took us off course a couple of times. I'm sorry for that, but I'm just passionate. I'm a little bit of an autist, like you guys say, but I'm just passionate. So,
Arguments, man. It's no worries.
Yeah, guys.
yeah, I'm glad that you get it.
So
everyone.
this wraps up
All
the
right.
second installation of podcast. Maybe we'll do more in the future. Who knows? It all depends on community reaction. You guys love it. Then change the hearts in the Twitch chat, comment in the YouTube. We want to see it. We want to see your reaction. I was your host. I hope I did a good job. I think I did a good job, maybe. But yeah, that's it. I think we're done.
Yeah, that was great.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
Crazy.
Are you gonna do an outro?
All right.
What
Yeah,
out?
we need an outro.
Okay, yeah.
Quick,
Follow
I got 2
everyone. Make
minutes,
sure
2
to
minutes.
follow them. Support them. Love Mordekaiser. Love Mordekaiser. Guys, bye.